We are going to rewatch the run, yes. I'm planning on using this first part of the stream at least. I don't know how long this is going to take at all. I'm going to use this first part, rewatching this run, because I also haven't seen the chat playback yet. I did, in fact, get all the fucking buns in all of them. It was like, it's just like cherry on top of the cake. It was like, fuck you, rabbit RNG. You're genuinely dying? Well, because of the amount of mistakes, or I don't know. I thought it was funny. But yeah, it could have gone better. And I'm gonna, like, sort of try and keep, like, a mental tally, or I could give an actual one if people care, of, like, the reasons why shit went wrong. Because they weren't all my fault, to be fair. I mentioned this on the Inscription Discord, so Fire knows this already, but none of you guys do. And I didn't want to, like, call it out on the stream, because it would seem, like, on the actual live stream, because it would seem petty. And it might seem petty now as well. But it wasn't entirely my fault. And I don't know if it's because my controller broke more during transit, or the particular hardware setup they had. Something about the actual setup was way oversensitive. Like, way oversensitive. So, there were situations where I'd press the go button, the progression button, and it would just fire twice, even though I only pressed it once. Which is why you get the situation where, I think it's when I picked up the second Raven's egg. I think that was the one of the times where just like, I didn't want to pick that up. That legitimately was not my fault. The dinosaur. That's the thing. I also haven't seen the camera view. I don't know what happened. As far as I know, you can see on screen here. As far as I knew, this is what the room looked like, until suddenly I heard people applauding behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know there were people there. Legitimately. So many fucking rabbits. I was like, well, fuck. So, like, you just mentioned a dinosaur in the background. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. But yeah, first thing, hardware fuck-ups were a thing. Please what? What we please? What did I do? What did I say? Oh, riding the... To be fair, her name is Riding Dinosaurs. So she's the rider, not the dinosaur. It was fucking almost all buns. Almost all buns. It would have been astounding if it was all buns. So yeah, there were some hardware issues, which were not my fault. It was partially my fault I didn't practice beforehand on one of the other PCs. There were PCs there available to practice with. I didn't do that, and I probably should have, because I was there from about 4 hours, 5 hours before my run. Just like being at the event, watching some runs. Because at the event, it's actually really cool. They had, you know what, if I'm going to just be talking for this section, I'm just gonna... There you go. Like, the actual event was very, very cool. It was not only the two streams themselves, it was like they had an entire, like, floor, almost, of the hotel booked out for this event. So they had the one big mainstream room. They had a smaller room for stream 2, which is what you're going to be seeing here. So that was cool. But they also had, like, free popcorn and ice cream at one point, which was awesome. They obviously had a bunch of merch and stuff. They had practice rooms as well, so you could actually go and practice. And I probably should have, to be fair. It would have probably dispelled some of the nerves if I did, so that one's on me. Just my socially awkward ass didn't want to, like, wander in and start using a PC, you know? Then again, if there were hardware issues, I may not have been able to practice that anyway. Because, like, it was the PC that had been, like, thrashed and running for, like, the last week at that point. But yeah, they also had a bunch of rhythm game machines, like the kind you find in, like, Japanese arcades. Like, these weirdly particular ones. I didn't go on any of them. They also had DDR as well. I didn't go on any of them because that's not my jam, but my partner did, who was with me. She did. She was into it. So yeah. There's also a board game room with so many board games in it. So we spent some time in there as well. All in all, it was a really cool event. I'm really sad I only got to go for one day. But that's what, you know, funds. The funds were available to me at the time. Which was like, can only go for one day. Because the ticket prices were quite expensive. Let me see if I can, real quick. Okay, so I only got a day ticket, which was 499 Swedish krona. Which, bear in mind, we had to get 2 of these between us. For a day ticket, it was £38.27 for a day. The actual week tickets, as the runner, I got a discount on the week-long tickets, but they are so expensive. And I get it, it's hard to... No, you don't get free entry. You don't get free entry in any of these events. It's because they gotta, like, run the event. And I get that. Really nice hotel. But it is very expensive for the runner to go, which is one of the reasons why I was doing fundraising before. All the money that you guys gave me on the fundraiser stream before, completely gone. All of it gone. I think I got like £70 or something. All of that was just gone on, effectively went on buying these 2 day tickets. Which, another fun fact, I stole by accident. Because we had to like rush out the door to get the train. And here it is right here. They did tell me that I was supposed to give this back. But through a combination of just like rushing to get out the door and kind of forgetting, I just sort of kept it. So I have that now. And frankly, for my £38, I think it was worth it. But I am the entertainment. Yeah. Yep. But none of these events are free entry. Because you got to think about it. Like, to put on the event, especially like to book the physical space and all that, people don't generally show up to these things unless they are running or they're with a runner. Like UKSG, when I went to that, everyone there was either staff or running. So it does make some sense to charge entry fees for that. Otherwise, they would never recoup their money. The only way they'd be able to recoup their money is through the donations at that point. And you got to imagine it like, kind of like we are buying the ticket is donating to the event itself. It's not ideal, and I do agree with you, but I'm also fine with it. Like, I knew that before going. So yeah, event itself was actually really, really cool. And if I get the opportunity to go again, then yeah, I will probably try and stay there for possibly even the whole week. What we actually ended up doing for price reasons was we stayed in Copenhagen, which for you geography nerds out there will know Copenhagen is not in Sweden. Copenhagen is in Denmark. But fun little fact, which I didn't know about until organizing this trip. We actually stayed with some friends in Copenhagen, by the way, to save on costs. There is first of all, the metro system in Denmark and Sweden is fucking amazing. Like, stark comparison to British trains, there's no competition whatsoever. It's so good. When you get world record, you get your money reimbursed. Oh, fuck. I'll be paying forever. So, and there is actually a train that runs across a bridge that connects Denmark and Sweden, which is very cool. It's meaning that I could go from Denmark to Sweden in like 20 minutes from where we were staying. Very, very cool. And also, the station is literally right outside the hotel. Like, it is a nice, fancy hotel. But you walk up the stairs to get out of the station, the hotel's right there. Like, literally right there. Like, you can't miss it. It's just there. So, that's very cool. It's a really nice hotel as well. I would love to stay in that hotel for the week, but even with discounted prices for people attending the event, pricey. Very, very, very pricey. So I'd love to do that, and hopefully if I get to go again, I will do that. But yeah, money's the issue. Hopefully next time we'll be in a better position. So, was there anything else I wanted to say before the event? Event was very, very cool. And if you're into speedrunning, the live event scene stuff, if you get the opportunity, do it. Genuinely, it's really, really cool. I really hope one day I get to go back and also to GDQ because it's the same but bigger. I'm also going to try and get back to UKSG later this year. They opened submissions. They've opened submissions for the one that's in the end of May, but I'm not going to that one. I'll be going to the one after that because they do at least 3 events a year. So I'll be going to the one after. Well, trying to go to the one after. We'll see. So yeah, on to the event. This was the first time I managed to do a run in daylight hours, and that's because they dropped the stream during the graveyard shift, as they call it, which does make some sense. I didn't know what kind of viewership I'd actually be getting here, and it doesn't seem like it saves viewer numbers from the chat on the VOD. Like, I could see the chat, but it was like way off the screen here. Like, my angle of I'm looking at here, that's my monitor. Like, I could see my monitor. The other monitor was like way over here somewhere from my point of view. Like, I could see it, but like I had to look like right away from my monitor to look at it. 600 to 1K? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Like I'd say, I didn't, and this is on stream too. I did have the advantage and disadvantage of Final Fantasy VII, like a 7 or 8 hour long Final Fantasy VII run, was on the main stream at that time, and I caught a bit of it as well. Managed to see like chunks of it. So that worked in my favor because not everyone wants to watch a 7-8 hour Final Fantasy VII run, so they would, you know, come to me, which I assume is what happened by the end of this. Because like I say, went from an empty room to actually having people in it, which is cool. You watch my ESA run? Oh yeah, the third act is hella broken. We're going to be going over exactly how much more broken it could have been. Yeah, welcome to the stream. And thank you very much for the follow. I see you're one of the group of people that followed me following the event. Very, very cool. Thank you. Who's that sat next to me? No, that's not Grink. I should actually talk about this. Moments before the run, this guy is Miri. He just walks up to me and he's like, well, he doesn't even walk up to me. He walks up to Tex. He has no fucking clue who I am. Of course not. He was a really cool guy. He basically just said like, oh yeah, I came to watch the Inscription event next because like I tried playing it and it was really hard and it was like, oh, it's really interesting. I want to see what the run's like. I never managed to finish it. Pretty normal stuff for people who played Inscription, honestly. You'll be surprised how many people haven't actually finished the game, but they still loved it. And then they point me out, and I just got talking to this guy. Miri is really, really cool. Grink is the guy who was on like reading donations and stuff. But Miri's a really cool guy, and he's like, yeah, can I sit in for your run? I'm like, okay. Sure. I was like, classic British, you know. I guess I could, you know, the movements aligned with the sun. Use way too many words to say, yes, please do. And then I set about fucking breaking everything. Like, minutes before my run, shit was just breaking all over the PC. I don't know if it's anything I did, or if it was anything a previous runner did, or whatever, but that PC was a little bit fucked up. It was a little fucked up. Well, during? Nice, thanks. So, this is what I'm saying with, like, there was a few hardware issues. I didn't want to, like, call it out on the live stream, but there were a few hardware issues, which caused some of the fuck-ups, but a lot of them were also just nerves, or me making mistakes, or horrific RNG, because it was really bad RNG. I am so surprised this run did not need to use a backup save. I mean, in a way, it kind of did, because I had to use chapter select at the end, because I broke it that much, but yeah. But anyway, this guy was cool. He basically hasn't finished the game, and he just wanted to see the run. He's like, hey, I'll join you for commentary. I'm like, yeah, alright, cool, sure. I figured, I actually don't know who this guy is. I still haven't looked him up, and I really need to. But, yeah, I figured, good to have friends. So, hey, thought it, must be better to have, yes and no. I thought, yeah, he's a cool guy. And he was a genuinely really nice guy. Hope to meet him again at a future event. And the thing is, I say yes and no for bouncing stuff off of a guy because I don't normally do this with a co-commentator. The inscription community is very, very small, and we're all scattered to the winds. I've never actually physically met anyone else in the inscription community. So normally when I do these kind of events, I am solo. So I'm very, very used to doing it solo. That, and my runs are always at like 3 a.m. or something. So nobody's awake to join me on those runs anyway. So, but that being said, it was nice to have him there. Yeah. IRL. Did I not say IRL? I meant to say IRL. Very cool guy. Jumped in at the last second. He's like, hey, yeah, I'll do this with you. I'm like, okay. And there we go. So, I think we can actually start the fucking video now. I will be pausing this a lot to talk about it a lot. Like, whenever I think of something new to say, I'll just pause and talk. And this is also the first time I'm seeing whatever the fuck was happening behind me. And also the first time I'm going to be seeing chat, because I legitimately haven't seen chat yet. A chat recap of this. Like, I looked over maybe once the entire run, because I actually made a joke of, there's one person, during the Boring 4 section, I said there's one person who's going to be particularly pissed that I did something wrong. And then the guy on tech said, yep, we just got the obligatory practice Boring 4. I said, hey, Flyoid. And because I obviously knew who that was. At that point, I looked over and saw that I was correct.
You can find me speedrunning these games most times. And before we get started, I just want to show one thing. We are going to reset the save data to begin with.
One thing I do want to say about this fucking camera angle does me so dirty. Like, there is a very good reason why this is the camera angle I give you. I look like a normal shaped human. I look like a person like this. This fucking camera angle, though, it does me so dirty. I hate it so much. I just look like a fucking lump. And yeah, I get it. I am a round person, but I hate this angle so much. Ugh. I hate it so much.
The run, but I just want to show you, even though the only option we'll have in a moment is continue, this is a completely new file, new save and everything, and with all the lovely RNG that comes with.
Last time we played this game, we PB. Yeah, about that.
Intro section. And
oh, it's
the
Fire's
first thing I need to talk about when we get into the run is you'll notice that I have not started the timer. There is a reason for that, which I'll get to in a second. There's just a short bit of setup beforehand. So,
okay, there you go. That was actually the first thing that you can see went a little bit wrong with this. I mean, wrong, quote unquote. But this is kind of my point. You can see like the hardware issues
lovely RNG
right now.
Comes with. It's got to go through this very short intro section. And
like right here.
The first thing I'll need to talk about when we get into the run is you'll notice that I have not started the timer.
His face not on side. Yeah, I didn't like any of the camera angles at any of the runs, to be honest.
That's just a short bit of setup.
This bit here.
Beforehand. So,
I had to click that like 4 times for it to go in. It was just, the whole PC was just a little fucked up. Just a little bit. And that's the first example of it right there. Which is why I was like, what the... like, I was like looking down at like what the fuck is happening? What's going on here? Ugh. It was, yeah, that was sign of things to come.
Only option.
Hey, look.
New game is grayed out. Can't do anything about that.
It's a PP in terms of slow. It's not.
Okay, and we get started. So, this is Inscription. It is a horror-ish sort of roguelike card game.
I had no idea he did that, by the way. I could not see him at all.
It's quite a lot of like lore-based stuff. It's quite a lot of story and elements, and it's just generally pretty creepy and fun. So we do go through this short...
also, very minor point. At this point, I am like fucking around with the setup because I'm obviously very used to like a pretty deep desk. The desk I had in front of me was barely wide enough to have the keyboard on it. So having a controller and a keyboard on it was just a nightmare, which also made me miss a few inputs here and there, but again, minor thing.
Tutorial section.
I'm just like
here.
Reorganizing everything while I talk.
The reason for this is when we first started the run, it's a bit of a history lesson, but when we first started running this game, there was a seeded category, but then we found out the seeds were pretty much no good. But by that time, a lot of people had already submitted runs to the any percent category where they had all started at the same place.
I also don't like how I worded this because it sounds like I did this, but I actually turned up after this decision was made. So not completely accurate with what I'm saying. So you couldn't stimulation? Dang. You can use channel points to get temporary access to... I can and will. You can use channel points to get temporary access to emotes. I don't know if you can take those off the channel, though. Don't really know how that works. And also, you're about to see the first... This one's unfortunate, actually. I still don't exactly know why this fucked up. Like, I actually don't know what's the issue.
To just have them start
Doesn't work with animated emotes? Same.
Now, first thing I am doing here is, not only am I doing the tutorial, but I'm setting up a glitch that we're actually going to do a little bit later in the run. And I'll try this maybe twice. If it doesn't work, then I'll just go with it. So
I go to set up the glitch. Got the timing here. Angled it properly, set it up properly. Do the movement.
Okay, I think I got it. Those 2 blood tokens in the bottom right.
I have no idea why this didn't work.
Okay, so we'll be starting very, very soon in... Nope, no, we're not. That didn't work. Alright, try it again. We'll try it one more time. Try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I legit have no idea why that didn't work.
It's very hard to tell if that actually works at that point. Like I say, for the purposes of time, if it doesn't work, I'll just go on without it, but if it doesn't work,
now you're about to get the first nerves fuck up as well.
Maybe 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, this is an incredibly random game. Like, no matter what you do...
He's just trying to fill silence. He has no idea what he's talking about. But it's fine. Like, I don't worry, I loved him being there. I love being able to, like, bounce off him and stuff. Really cool guy. But he does not know what he's talking about here.
You're going to get different sets of cards, you get different sets of options. There's an element of deck building, so there's a lot that's going to be going on. And you have to have a lot of experience playing this game.
It is an incredibly random game.
Of course.
Especially when you're
trying to do it very, very quickly.
There you go. That fucked up again.
This game is not particularly difficult to speedrun. It's just
I
really
say this like 8
fast,
times.
You're making a lot of decisions very quickly and trying to use various glitches very, very quickly. And you also may notice I'm able to click the progress button quite quickly. It's because in order to avoid things like repetitive strain injuries and whatnot, as a community, we allow people to use joystick to convert...
Also, this angle looks like I'm checking my phone the whole time. Not really important. Again, just I hate the angle so much.
Clicks into a joystick movement into clicks. You see it in some other card games as well. I believe Slay the Spire does the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it
that would be funny.
Helps you grind out the game without actually doing damage to yourself. So
see,
that's how I'm able to mash so quickly. I can mash.
You're about to
pretty much
across the first
own,
nerves fuck up here.
But I don't have to. I'm not going to.
Not that. That's again
the
me
basic
just
kind of mechanic that's going on here is the cards have like an attack value similar to something like Magic. If you've ever played that, that'll be in the bottom left, and then they also have a health value that's in the bottom right.
Yeah, you'll learn pretty close to the end that the developer of this game, Daniel Mullins, he's a big fan of.
And then I do that.
Games.
I don't know why I did that.
I'm supposed to do that. Okay, I'll just
So yeah,
I'll just go without it.
Like technically, I could have just done the glitch again, but because I actually fucked up, like an actual like autopilot fuck up happened there, I was like very, very nervous. Yeah, exactly, Firehood, exactly. I just completely autopiloted on that one. And yeah, and because of that, I was so nervous. I did have the opportunity because I quit out before the fight ended. I could have just done it again, but I instead just said, fuck it. It's one glitch, and frankly, most people watching this game don't really appreciate that glitch anyway. Because, like, yeah, it saves, like, what, 10, 15, 20 seconds maybe if you're lucky. But, yeah.
Should be able to just hit continue here because...
And then it starts again.
Okay. So, this glitch would have allowed me to sacrifice a boulder later on, but which is normally not something you're allowed to do.
That is true.
Which allowed me to lose a fight
That's
much quicker.
Grand Tree is
required if you're trying to go for a world record run, but this is not what we're doing.
He has now down patched his game, thanks to me.
Pretty much anything and everything will happen.
So he can do it now.
Or don't want to do.
And classically, anything that can go wrong tends to. So
absolutely,
he has no idea.
We've given it a couple tries here, but we'll just continue kind of without that.
Yeah. So. Obviously, getting through the tutorial is not the hardest part of the run, especially considering it hasn't.
Hey, it is for me.
Actually, I haven't actually started the run yet, of course. So.
Yeah. And for context, I don't run this game. I just really like it.
Yeah. Just volunteered to, because you enjoy the game, so you're volunteering to step in for commentary at the last moment.
Brilliant, by the way, as well. If you haven't played this game,
it is absolutely great.
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, you did. Rather.
Okay, so
I keep forgetting I'm supposed to be
we
reading
don't
chat.
have to worry
Oh,
about the
chat?
timer not working this
Cringe.
time. So we'll go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo.
Okay.
There's already people here. Who are you people? So, I was about to say something. I don't remember what it was. Never mind. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, it's filling up behind us. Let's go.
Yeah. So this early section of the game is kind of also a tutorial section, but less tutorial and more just scripted. Certain things happen, so you mastery
Who
all
are
the
you
controls and
people?
whether or not you can move the mouse correctly and things like that, cursor placement and what have you. So normally we'd be able to sacrifice that boulder because the goal of what we want to do now is get through this fight as quickly as possible. So right now, normally we'd be able to sacrifice the boulder, it'd be out the way, so we wouldn't have to worry about the wolf cub. It would turn into a wolf, and then it would just kill us on this turn because everything would just be out of the way. We weren't able to set that glitch up, so now we have to go through an extra couple of turns and just lose as quickly as possible. Let's say that loses, that gains you anywhere between 10
You
and
are
30 seconds,
better
depending on how
nerd.
fast you do it. And now
Sure am.
we are doing what are the puzzle elements of the game.
Oh, I completely fucked
These
these
are
up as
always
well.
the
This is
same.
all just
I
like
was gonna ask, so this isn't
complete nerves.
No,
here.
no. Most
Like-
of these things aren't actually random.
At this point, my hands were just shaking. My biggest regret of the whole event was not going and using a practice room beforehand. Because the thing is, I recognize that this was not the biggest deal doing this run, but I was hella nervous, and more nervous than I'd ever been in an event, which makes sense because it's the biggest one. And it's actually during the day slot, so people are actually going to watch it, you know. So it makes sense, but it doesn't really occur to you at the time to do things to mitigate those nerves. And Biafra in chat, yeah, they were like one of the first people. AKA Devilman.
And just getting used to the setup here to move keys and stuff around. Okay. So, canonically speaking, to progress the game, you actually have to lose
Boring for not
twice.
important. Boring for
And by
boring.
lose, I mean you have to full-on die. We always want to take that. We know what the other one is, and we don't have to touch it. And
Not distracting. Don't worry.
not
about
distracting at all, no.
I had no idea that was a thing. No idea. Nobody had warned me that this was a thing. In all the runs I'd seen so far, it had never happened. I had absolutely no fucking clue they had blurp enabled for this. Nobody warned me. I was like, what the fuck? It's okay. I wasn't distracted enough already. It's fine. Fortunately, it doesn't. I think it happens one more time in the run, but
So we have to lose twice before the actual plot can move on to the next act, because yes, there are multiple acts in this game, where a lot of people think the game finishes, actually doesn't finish whatsoever, as a result of which there is a larger amount of people who haven't played this game, who haven't seen the end of it, because they just assume the game goes on forever, and it doesn't.
yep,
So,
this game
again,
is
we're
not a
trying to lose as
roguelike.
quickly as possible.
kind of
Did
a
we
roguelike.
manage to meet the incentive for death cards at all?
We haven't, but we've got an $80 donation from Japan that says, "Let's go Berserker, praying for successful glitch techniques from Japan with..."
Heck doesn't even know how to say my name. Actually, that it does remind me of one thing I did want to say, which I actually felt really bad about, because I had two incentives going into this. One incentive was naming death cards, which didn't get met, and I'll talk about that in a second. The other one was appreciate Goobert's art. Excuse me, which did actually get funded, whatever the word is. Now, the problem with that is when they listed it on their website, I don't know if it was an intentional joke or if they just misspelled it. They misspelled it, appreciate Goosebert's art. And that's not really an issue to people who don't know the event very well. The problem is, the event has a mascot, which is a goose, called Goosebert. This means that the people who paid for that donation incentive may have thought it was something other than it was in the end. And that made me feel really bad going into this. So, when we get to that section, you'll see me go, you paid for this. I actually legitimately felt bad because they may not have paid for that. The other one was the one which I'll talk about more relevant now is the naming of the death cards. The way they did that was not smart, in my opinion. They listed it as a they listed it as a reward. So like just a thing you can buy outright. So basically to name either of the death cards, and they charge $50 for it. To name either of the death cards, you needed to straight up pay $50 each. And in order to find that incentive, you had to like go onto the list and then like select more and scroll down. I don't think those incentives ever had a chance of being funded at all. So that made me a little bit sad because I feel like naming things in speedruns is more of a traditional thing for speedrunning marathons. It's a thing that people would like to do at the events. So it's a shame that they didn't get to, that they priced it so high and hit it so much. Again, I'm not like annoyed at the event as such. Like I'm not like, oh, how dare they do this to me? Nothing like that. It's just, it was a shame. It's a shame they chose to do it that way. I personally would not have wanted to see it go down like that. Also, this guy, he does mention it earlier, the guy off screen, Grink. He does mention it later, but he didn't actually tell me if any of my incentives has been filled at all. But I knew that the Goobert one was actually filled beforehand because I checked the website.
Love from Devilman, which have completed the incentive for Have a Nice Death.
Also, Devilman and MP Alpha, same person.
Super nice.
Very
Thank you
nice.
very much for this generous donation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the noise. The bumper.
Oh, I'm happy to be distracted then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, even if you
I was also considering talking about the hydration reminder on my stream, but I thought that was a little bit too inside baseball, so I decided against it. Plus, we had shit coming up I didn't talk about.
do super well, I believe there's a mechanic where he just kills you anyways.
Not as such, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But
Yes, I mean there is. It's called Too Fast Too Soon. If you go too far in the game before you actually die, of course ESA.
Nice.
If you go too far in the game before you've died a couple of times, your opponent's board gets filled with. Don't need to split. Gets filled with.
I reached a split every single time. Even when I didn't mention it, I reached for the split. I couldn't not do it. It's habit.
Very, very powerful cards, which you can technically bust your way through, and in fact that's how shorter categories of the game actually do work. Okay, this is going to be the first safety strat, which is going to make some people very angry. I'm going to use both of these items. Much slower to use them, but safety purposes.
No splitter.
Okay, and once again, we're just trying to die as quickly as possible. You get
Whenever you do these events, unless you're running on your own PC from like remote or whatever, they don't have live split or anything like that on them. I think the idea is to try and keep the PCs as clean as possible. Both UKSG and ESA got a little bit annoyed that... Who the fuck? Oh, it's Sweet Anita. Right, never mind. Sorry, I was like, what kind of porno? Right. But yeah, they both had a word when I said I need to use Joyda Key. They were like, right, okay. And they just gave me like a similar spiel of like how to make sure I'm using it and stuff like that on the actual PC because they just didn't want it on there because they want to try and keep them as clean as possible. So I'm not surprised there's no live splits because if you think about how many runs there would be on just that one PC alone, they don't want to have all those splits. I suppose I could have had like a splitter on my phone if I really cared, but eh. I also had my phone in airplane mode for the entire run because I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk the distraction. How bad would that have been?
get 2 lives, so you have to choose when and where you want to die fastest to be able to set up manipulations for later. Everything we're doing, whether it's dying or whether it's building cards in a particular way, it's all to set up for later. Okay, and this is another time when the game forces you to stand up, so it's a good time to stand up and go do puzzles, including picking up this chatty Cathy, who you can't speed the text up of, and she talks for a while. And okay.
That was
And pick up our piece.
walking forward, backwards, forward. Again, keys fucking up a little bit. Very minor. But yeah. You see, like, a lot of instances in this. Whenever there was a time when my movement wasn't great, like, it was just not something I would normally do, I'm gonna need you to believe me, it was probably the hardware. Probably.
there, and back to the board.
And so if you're noticing the symbol in the middle of the cards, there's kind of like some fixed mechanics in the game. The symbol in the middle is basically telling you the mechanic of the card.
Yeah, ultimately we want to try and build as many one-turn kills as we can.
Panic. Okay, we're fine.
Okay, in order to get the manipulation we're setting up now, we need to get a particular...
Like, I didn't know at this point the run wanted to die, but there were signs. It's like, okay, there we go. Every practice run I did for this, including the PB I got, had, like, multiple black goats appear. In this one, bones only appeared last.
Item there, which is why it's a lot safer to actually use the items.
I'm very happy to tell you when I legitimately fuck up, because I do a few times.
Currently going to be going for a thing that we call cockroach.
Hey, Keith, thank you very much.
Is making it so all of your squirrels have the...
bullies.
Okay, so I got terrible RNG for this fight, by simple fact I didn't get cockroach in the first hand, and there's a slow-ass fight. But as far as a marathon goes, this is fine. Like, realistically, this is fine. It's a much, much, much safer fight, and that's pretty much what you want in a marathon. So, as far as bad RNG goes, this fight could be worse.
Killable card.
Oh, and thank you very much for your continuing support, Key. Thank you very much. It really does help me out. Thank you.
The unkillable sigil. So, we need to draw the cockroach.
I drew a squirrel last round as well. That was just a fuck up. That wasn't even nerves. That was just autopilot. Fuck up. Picked up a squirrel. That was all me. So I was like, oh fuck, wrong deck. I remember there was this very tangible moment where I was like, oh fuck, wrong deck. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've got Sparrow and Skunk. I'm fine. Slow as heck, but fine.
Get in the game. That's also not the cockroach. And
although this got a bit, it got a bit close for my liking.
We sacrifice it. And now we let this guy kill us. Because we've sacrificed that, it's put it in the pool of available sigils that we can attach.
It happened like that, and because of the way it happened, it looked like I did it on purpose. Nope. It got a bit close there. Ooh.
To our squirrel cards. Squirrels being the free cards that are just basically free to sacrifice whenever you need them. It was very concerning when I only got the bones of the last one, because you can't play the game without those. Can't do the speedrun without them.
Yeah, definitely trying to make you as nervous as possible.
Yeah, this is technically the slower, but it is much safer, so it's probably a good thing I'm doing this particular strat. Okay. Take some pictures. Doesn't work, that's fine. He's like, hey, my camera, how'd you get that? Okay, now we're building the second card. This is not great RNG, but it's fine. We're gonna call you. This is fine.
Smile.
Once again, don't need to split. Don't stop trying to reach for splits. Okay. So now canonically we have died twice. Those are required deaths, otherwise you can't go forward in the game. Otherwise it'll just stop you with too fast too soon. Now, hopefully, we get to win. So it's just showing us what's in our deck.
Oh, here we go.
And we're moving here. There's a very easy mistake to make here, so I need to not...
No, the people behind me, there's like a big projector overhead. So the people behind me are looking at that. Actually, I can't see my time at all. Basically, they are seeing this, but projected on the wall behind. So if I wanted to see what my time was, I actually had to look up at the wall behind to look up on the stream what my time was. And I think I do towards the end. I didn't look at my time throughout most of the run, but I think I did at the end when I saw it was like already like 1 hour 20. I was like, ruh-roh. Fortunately, I think this run was like 1:21 by the end of it, which is starting to make me think I need to increase my estimate from 1:17. No.
Do that. Terrible.
I realize now I should have tried to go for the Mantis, but I was going for Magpie there. This was bad RNG. Very bad RNG. I was trying to go for Magpie. That was my conscious thought. This Raven Egg, while I didn't want a Raven Egg, this particular pickup was intentional. Although I should have, probably, thinking back, gone for the insect and gone for Mantis.
Terrible RNG.
It was bad RNG. Yeah.
Okay, now we need to stand up here. It doesn't force us to stand.
Also, extra time would have been added because I did the Goobert thing as well. So I'm not too bummed out about going way over estimate.
stand up. We need to come over here and do these puzzles. These puzzles are always the same. We have to do the top 2, even though we don't want the things that are actually in them. But we do want the bottom 2.
Did this go wrong?
A friend of mine likes to say these are ant strats, because if you pick up any ants by accident, your run fails. So, all's fair and... Nope.
This was all hardware.
Place
All of that was hardware.
Okay.
Every single part of that was the hardware fucking up. I remember thinking, like, what the fuck is happening with this keyboard? Still don't know. Still don't know what the issue was. I also just realized you said no splits master race down there. Yeah. I had no idea what was going on with the keyboard, with the hardware in general, but all of my movement in the cabin and then later on in the TO3 area. I called it cabin as well. I don't know. The robot factory. Yeah, all of that was hardware. It was really weird.
So now that we've picked up the pieces we need to from over there,
having shaky hands from nerds probably didn't help either, but it was mostly hardware. I was also at this point, I was like, I can't pick up the wrong thing. My cursor is way out of the way here because my controller or my joystick key input was also crazy sensitive, like way more than it should have been. I made sure to do this very carefully, so I know I do this quite slowly. Wasn't lots of lag, it was just like a lot of extra inputs that I didn't do. I suppose I could bring my own keyboard, but I didn't think it would be an issue. I don't think there would be a problem with using my own keyboard, because like I use my own controller. In fact, if you require a controller, like in my case, my controller, they actually tell you to bring that with you. So I don't think there would have been a problem to bring my own keyboard. There is also the issue of, I don't know how well this thing traveled. I'll be interested to see how fucked up this is. Because in order to protect it, I brought this with me in like a plastic tub. What I didn't consider was that plastic tub was going on a plane. And the plane messed with the vacuum that was created inside the tub, causing it to like smush up against it. So it's possible I've actually fucked this controller up even more and didn't realize. We'll see next time I actually try to do runs with it. But that being said, again, not all my fault. Something was up with that keyboard. It was weird.
We can change our totem.
I was so
the
careful
head that we picked up, that combines with the symbol that we put in the pool in the previous death. And now all of our squirrels for the rest of the run will have the...
There you are, fired. Got Raven Egg, one of accidentally unlock painting. I do actually come very close to unlocking the painting at one point. I remember that. But not that I was thinking about that at the time. I didn't even, like, mentally register what the painting looked like. I've also tried it. It is not faster to pick the painting up. Never is. As in, like, if you accidentally unlock it, it's never faster to pick the thing up. I think it's the clover first. It's not faster to pick that up.
The unkillable sigil on them. Or at least for the rest of the act, sorry. And as a result of that, if we want to play multiple cards, we get the quick squirrel back, and we can do that. This is unfortunately quite slow RNG here. We should be able to win in 2 turns, though. Grand Fur blocks that again because of the sigils.
Oh yeah, this is me talking about slow RNG at this point. Oh, and I absolutely forgot to use the pliers.
My mistake.
Straight up forgot, but it's
You
fine.
get to see a couple more of the mechanics. Like there's a flying mechanic and how those cards interact with one another and stuff like that.
Oh, of course. I could have ended that.
I mean, there is also
used the pliers, but I'm trying to save them for later.
I mean, I suppose you could do
Okay,
safety
once
for
again,
that,
this is
but-
another card pickup based on the
That
Raven Egg.
That was not me. That particular one, that was not my fuck up. Like, look how quickly it flips.
I could have ended that one turn earlier if I'd used the pliers, but I'm trying
Okay,
to
this
save
could have
them
gone back a
for
little bit, but that's
later.
far. Look how
Okay,
fast this
once
card
again, this is
flips.
another-
Like, so I flipped this one normally, and this one, boom, straight away. Not my fault. I was 100% going to take the elk here.
The card pickup based on the...
Didn't even see it. That was a hardware fuck up. That right there, hardware fuck up. A lot of stuff in this run was my fault. A lot of it was. There's one really big one later, which I do remember, which I saw myself doing in slow motion at the time of doing it. That one right there not my fault. And this Raven Egg is one of the reasons why I lose a fight later on.
Raven Egg again. Okay, we can run with that, I suppose.
2 for 2.
Yeah, there is some ideal cards that you can pick up in those sections, but yep, didn't get any of the good ones. So we'll live with it.
And now I'm trying to cover my ass.
Okay. So the
Again,
idea for this
without
first section is just
calling
try and
shade
smash
on the
through as quickly as possible.
hardware.
Unfortunately, things like Raven.
Is this
Egg
the
are
fight
actually
I have to
very, very
reset
slow,
because I sacrificed the wrong thing?
but we
It
will
totally
work
is.
with whatever we've
It totally
got.
is.
The card that he's actually using against me there is the one I actually wanted. So, just mocking me a little bit. It's because we want to see those sigils that he has in it. The bifurcated symbol is that the one with the 2 arrows side by side.
Actually, no, it's not. I can just... No, not this one. Later on.
That because it turns
It looks
a
very similar.
single forward attack into 2 sideways attacks.
Should have my college the
2
Raven Eggs.
diagonal
I
attacks.
did.
And then if we can get that and then stick it to...
And now I'm being, like,
fine.
really
If
careful
we
with
get
it
that and we
because
can stick it to
because of
a
the,
card with 3 or
hardware
more
fuck-ups.
power, then that's an instant one turn.
like, you can see how much more careful I am with these pickups now from, like, this point onwards because of that Raven Egg.
Attacks, 2 diagonal attacks.
Look how much more
And
careful
then
I'm being.
if we can get
Cursor
that
movement.
and then stick it to... It's fine. If we get that and we can stick it to a card with 3 or more power, then that's an instant one turn kill. So, no, that Black Go's the thing we wanted to see before, but that's okay.
See, that didn't
The
put me
swipe
off at all.
mechanic in this section of the game is very strong.
Yes, absolutely. And there's the chatty Cathy. She likes to talk
Okay, I
every
think
time she comes out,
this...
wasting our
maybe?
time.
I can't remember. I can't remember either.
There. And use the pliers to bust through that.
Didn't need to do that.
Using pliers and things is quite slow, but it's often faster than the alternative.
Didn't need to
So
use
you
pliers.
do generally want to use...
So many of the actual mistakes I make, and that was one of them, I realized immediately afterwards that that was a mistake. I realized very quickly. All I had to do was sacrifice one thing, the thing that was blocked, so the stink bug. Sacrifice that, and then I would have had a second bone. I could have played This Is Fine and won that round without using an item, which would have actually been helpful to have on the Prospector. I also did consider going for Nugget Skip on the Prospector. Considered it briefly, and I was like, I'm not even going to try doing that right now. I think I may have mentioned it. I don't actually remember, but I was like, I'm not even.
use things like that when you
Like, I was
need to.
already so flustered by this point because of everything that had already
in
gone
an
wrong.
ideal RNG world, you don't need to. This guy's going to give you a bit of a jump scare. Surprise. And and then we move on to grab one more item, and then we move on to our first
Also, I'd like to point out, my woman right here, clearly so interested she's on her phone. Love you, boo.
boss fight, where I'm going to see if I can
I
get
know.
another glitch going. But
Yeah, okay,
see
I
if
did
that
mention
actually
it.
works out for us.
Whether or not you can do this glitch is entirely RNG based.
Okay, this is in true DM fashion. He really commits to the bit, puts on a mask, and he starts doing a character. This is the Prospector fight. Okay, not actually the worst RNG here, because we can do that, do that. There is another quite difficult glitch you can do here, but for the sake of not making this fight impossible to win, I'm not going to go for it.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't actually explain what the glitch
Hey,
was.
another Raven Egg.
Yeah,
My
terrible,
favorite.
terrible RNG. So many. I pulled so many Raven eggs. So many.
Okay.
Chatty Cathy is
She
back.
does like to chat.
Did I need that? Yeah.
My RNG has been close to horrific so far, but
It has not been good.
we're making do.
Yeah, it's a good showcase for how much you have to route on the fly and how much you have to think
You
about
do,
what
yeah.
you're doing, yeah.
He's giving me so much
And
credit.
this is the reason why it's actually pretty good to get the Cage Wolf in the first hand, because he breaks it open.
I could have actually gone for... I could have gone for Prospector Skip here. Because I could have used Bullfrog on either of these things. So yeah, could have gone for it. I just didn't want to risk it.
Breaking that Cage Wolf is a required component of the run.
Yeah, it
but
wouldn't help.
It's
Exactly.
sometimes a little difficult to do. So, if you can manage to get that out on the field before the Prospector actually hits anything, he breaks it open for you.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
I-
a much faster run.
I recognize this after the fact all the time. Like, when you're actually in the middle of a run, you're like, oh my god, this is terrible. I'm doing awful. Crap, I missed that. I could have done that faster. You watch it back afterwards, you're like, oh damn, I didn't realize I was going that fast. Mo would have been dead right now? Oh, yeah, of course, because I would have had an extra damage on the field, so I would have taken 3. Okay, yes. One less turn. I also got very, very lucky with the This Is Fine draw, because that Bloodhound is going to come down and kill the wolf. And it's at this point that I realized that, and I don't know if it's visible, but there is a moment of an actual sigh of relief that the fight is still winnable. I was like... So, yeah. I really did not want to have to use a backup save for this run in general. So, I'm glad that I didn't in the end.
I haven't got any space left. That's just showing that there's over damage.
Like, it was actually at that point when I did the over damage. No, so I went quiet for a moment afterwards. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, we're fine. This is fine.
And as a result of that, now I actually have an additional wolf in my deck, which is going to make playing and winning fights quite a bit easier. And first boss is down.
Nice.
To this point, I realized
Not
people were
ideal
actually
RNG there.
watching.
That fight can be a lot faster, but I'll take what we got. Okay.
This is
the
Child 13.
That fucker didn't show up once. Not once. Child 13 is an incredible card for cockroach strats. It's fantastic. Closes the gap, gives you an extra thing to sacrifice, means you don't have to go through as many animations. It's a fantastic card for cockroach strats. The fucker didn't show up once. What asshole.
Yep, that's the best choice of those. It's not a great choice if you're using the other strat. The other strat is called Black Goat strats, where instead of giving everything the power of a cockroach,
I have no idea what's happening, but it looks cool. Yeah, that's pretty much Inscription in a nutshell.
Fill your deck with really expensive things, and you don't need the Child 13 card.
Just wait for it.
Okay, this is a shop, and yes, we got ourselves a pronghorn. Very nice.
Wait, was there a better choice I could have made there?
Worth taking.
I feel like there wasn't, but let's have a look.
And you don't need the Child 13 card. Okay, this is a
Yeah, okay. The option here would have been Pronghorn, which I did take, which I think is still the best option. I could have taken Ringworm to not have to take the ring later, but that's a low priority. Black Goat would have also been nice. Grizzly would have been okay, but very expensive for cockroach strat, so I made the right call here.
Shop, and yes, we got ourselves a pronghorn. Very nice.
And of course, the rest are just bad.
It's always worth taking an extra second to actually look at your options there. Because we can now combine some sigils here, or combine some creatures onto sigils. We can take that, stick it to the wolf.
Yeah, and so whatever card you put on.
I also realized after I did this, I probably should have stuck the Pronghorn to the This Is Fine Bones card, and then used the Mycologist for the wolf. I realized that after the fact, but I don't regret my decision here, because generally you don't want to be relying on Bones. It's just Bones are a lot easier to get out in cockroach strats, so I was thinking that might have been a better move, but again, I don't regret this move.
The bottom will be applied to the top here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ideally, you don't want any Mycologists, but
yes, you want to.
Considering I'm going more for safe than fast, double attack is incredibly strong. It's the cornerstone of Inscription runs. But yeah, because I was going for more safe than fast, there was like a thought in the back of my mind that if a Mycologist showed up, then I might just go for it. And eventually I do. But, well, I didn't get a choice in the matter, but still, eventually I do go for it. It doesn't help much.
I'm trying to remove as much of the dross from your deck as possible.
I also said the word dross, and I'm not sure if that's a bad word or not. I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
He also likes to chat, but unfortunately he's required for a setup later.
Which I don't get, by the way.
Can't get rid of him.
But I don't get because it's my fault.
I got a $10 donation from Neither in a Bubble. That says, let's go Berserker, help you get a nice hat in Hacked 2. Proud of you to running it for a great cause with a heart. And yeah, I wanted to remind you that we have met the incentive for the Goobert art in Act 3. So, nice. Because I forgot to tell you before the run, I wanted to remind you now. Because it would be a
That pickup was also terrible RNG. Just awful.
Shame if we don't do it. Thanks to all of your generous donations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Keep them going.
Okay. The only reason I went for items here, because you can see, like, my path here. I had the choice of going for another sigil, or I could have gone here and deleted a card, and either of them would have been better based on the items I currently have. I did not realize I still had a bank of bones. In my mind, I was thinking I could go for scissors or double pliers, which is also why you'll see the item that Clover would have helped there, true. Which is also why you see the item I do pick up is pliers. When I think there's a fan here, which I would have normally picked up. I didn't realize this Hoggy Bank was there. Again, that's my mess up. Probably caused by nerves, but again, that was a fuck up. That was a pretty big fuck up.
So,
nice.
Because I forgot to tell you before the run, I wanted to remind you now. Because it would be a shame if we don't do it. Thanks to all of your generous donations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Keep them going.
Almost certainly should have gone left.
Okay, you don't actually pick up Goober there, and if you do, people laugh.
Okay, so this is actually a different one.
It's a completely useless item.
Same thing happens. I never actually use this. I don't think.
Because we do love. Oh, oops. I actually remember how the strat works. We do love some Goobert, but unfortunately he's not the most useful character in the game, which is why we're taking time to appreciate his art later on. So thank you very much for that.
And I picked that up just to get rid of it, but realistically I should have used it. That would have been way faster if I just used it.
And you get things like overdamage and stuff. The ideal goal of each of these fights, and if I'm making some moves that look a little bit strange, it's because you don't want to over damage too much.
It happened again. It happened again. I kind of figured that there's actually 2 tentacle cards. I'll talk about that in a second. But I kind of figured the issue was over at that point. So I was like, oh, fuck it. After this point, I started physically pushing down on the control stick just to make sure the control stick wasn't fucking up and it was zeroed out. But that's where it happened again. That was annoying. You can hear it in my voice as well if I go back a sec. Can I just frame this? Nope. No, I can't. Okay, well. Sorry, I gotta go back a little bit further, but you can actually hear the annoyance in my voice.
And you get things like overdamage and stuff. The ideal goal of each of these fights, and if I'm making some moves that look a little bit strange, it's because you don't want to over damage too much. I did not.
You can hear the annoyance in my voice. It's so fucking annoying that happened. Because yeah, I don't even know what that third card was. Could have been way better.
I mean to pick that up. You don't want to overdamage too much. If you do overdamage too much, then you end up doing extra animations, which is a thing you generally want to avoid. Speaking of things we want to avoid, we're going to take you and we're going to take the literal stinky sigil off of you because the cockroach, and put it on the cockroach because stink bug is very stinky by her very nature.
I'm rambling because I'm still annoyed at the hardware fuck up. And yeah, what Fire had said. I figured Fire would answer, which is why I didn't. But yeah, there's 2. One is so much better. Weird choice in that sigil. I just wanted rid of the cards. Like, I'll explain my logic here. Oh, hey, landed right on it. So, I realize now, what I probably should have done is gotten rid of one of these Raven eggs. In my mind at the time, I was thinking, yeah, they're slow, but they're still 2 damage. Whereas I definitely want to get rid of the Stink Bug, because Stink Bug is annoying and slow. It probably would have been safer, and slower, but safer, to take a Raven Egg and put it on the Tentacle, honestly. Probably would have been better. But I didn't have much by way of options at this point. And I don't really get more options for the rest of the run.
And we're going to take the literal stinky sigil off of you because
yeah, rambling because I'm still annoyed at the hardware.
Because stink bug is very stinky by her very nature. And she slows us down, which is even stinkier.
Haha, I'm very funny.
Okay.
Awful hand. Absolutely awful hand.
These first hands are a little bit terrible. There's a mechanic throughout the game where the game will not give you a random first hand, it will try to give you a playable first hand. And so if you fill your deck up with nothing but stuff you actually want to play, then your first hand becomes very, very powerful. See, that's what you want to see in every single fight.
Good.
But unfortunately, didn't give us that, so we're just gonna have to work with what we've got.
If I remember correctly, the arrow means it like slides at the end of each round.
It does,
or each
but
turn, right?
ideally you want to try and kill them before that happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm hesitating so much in playing the wolf here. I think my logic was, I think my logic was I can win with what was on the field, because in my mind, I didn't realize they had hit me yet. I guess I was too distracted and I just didn't think about that they hadn't taken... Yeah, that they hadn't dealt any damage. I thought they hadn't dealt any damage yet. Which is obviously wrong. And when I realized that that was wrong, it like way threw me off. So yeah, very weird fight. Again, all my mistakes.
And there we get to see that bifurcate. So that's going to attack up left and up right. That's why he's positioned it between those two cards.
Exactly. It turns a 3 damage card into a 6 damage card, which can turn a losing battle into a winning one very, very quickly. Okay. Even though I'd like to...
I'm being so careful with my button presses in this because of the
Even though I'd like to very much mill my deck a little bit more.
This is the one. This is the one.
And try and grab
I should have taken the scissors. But there's like this moment here, you can see it in my face, where I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't realize I still had bones. That was the time. I 100% should have taken the scissors there if I'd realized I still had these bones. I think I also used the bones in this fight just to make sure I'm rid of them, because I realized how big of a fuck up that was. I keep using the word big fuck up. Big by like speedrunner standards, not by casual
now we have
viewers
the Angler,
standards.
second boss fight of Act 1.
I'm also
His whole
thinking at this
shtick
point
is that
how
he
much
steals your
easier this
cards
fight
and
can be
against
with
you.
scissors.
Ideally, you want to see that card.
But then that I
Thank
got
you for
that,
actually
and
showing
I'm
up today.
very relieved at this
And
point.
By playing it here, you basically just circumvent the mechanics of the entire fight. Because the whole shtick is, in the second phase of the fight, he puts down a bucket in front of you. If you
This deck is interesting, Etchy Lamau. Thanks, bro. Hadn't noticed.
break that bucket, then you break open the shark, which then attacks you. However, you can just go right around it with bifurcated. So,
And this is why the 3 damage card was so important. He needed 5 hits there and getting 3 and 2 open slots. Just gets to 6. That was great.
So boss 2 is down. Okay, that's a good card.
Guy in chat says like, wow, that was fast. Yeah, that's actually a pretty standard. Like, people are like, oh my god, that wolf is amazing. Like, yeah, there's a reason why we want it. Dang, RNG.
It's actually a very
Can't mess up that deck. I mean,
too.
yeah, you can't mess up something which is the worst it could possibly be. Actually, not true. Could have been worse if those hardware glitches had caused me to pick up like Turkey Vulture, then yeah, the run would have been unsavable.
And if we're smart with it, we can actually do a thing to improve it even more in Act 2. In the first act, if you upgrade the Ouroboros by...
Oh yeah, Ouroboros also never showed up. Just not even once. Not once. Neither Child Nerf... As far as I know, Child 13 and Ouroboros just got deleted from this deck as soon as I picked them up. As far as I know. Because we never see them again.
Using its abilities.
That was the fuck up. That was it. That was the moment that I really kicked myself for. I kicked myself so hard for that. I'll show you why.
In the first act, if you upgrade the Ouroboros by using it...
I already had a bifurcated 1-turn kill. Exactly. Fioji nailed it in one. Nailed it in one. This was an actual fuck up. In my mind, I saw Pronghorn. Oh boy, that's what I want. Gimme. ESA was right there. That has the Touch of Death sigil that Stoat needs. This choice right here, if this was an actual run, this choice right here just takes it from a world record run to a trash tier run. Because this is the one thing, this added a solid couple of minutes to my moon fight not taking this. This was the one decision in the whole run that I truly kicked myself for. Like, truly did. And don't get me wrong, I make a lot of other... Also, because it's ESA. Oh, yeah, sure, never want to take it. Or you're saying, yes, I would want to take it for the hype. Yes, I would. Yeah, I'm really annoyed I didn't take that. Of everything that goes wrong in this run, that's the part I hate the most. The rest of it's, like, funny to a degree. This part, and I know no one else cares, right? Not a single fucking person cares. The run was done. It was entertaining. But, like, I'm pretty sure you can hear it in my voice as well. Like, I knew I fucked that up. Should have taken that.
Its abilities, then
okay, you can't really hear it in my voice.
You can actually keep it upgraded throughout the rest.
I'm
of the
stuttering
game.
a bit here, but
okay, 2 players means.
Trust me, I was kicking myself. So annoyed.
So the ideal is to upgrade it as much as possible in this first act, and because the game likes giving you a playable hand, it gave me everything I need to play this, and that fight is done.
That's it.
That's the ideal situation for every fight in the game. It's just if the RNG wants.
So an actual run, it would be
nice
a cat sigil, not touch of death. Nope.
Okay. Grizzly. Bit expensive for this strat, but
it was also the only card worth taking.
That's an unfortunate event coming up that I can't avoid. Okay, if you already have 3 items, he says, "Hey, that you've already got items," and just gives you a free card. The card itself is actually pretty good. It's just not particularly fast.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to see that bifurcated wolf again.
Unlucky.
It happens.
This is the fight where I sacrificed the wrong thing.
Yep, classic egg move.
Classic egg. The eggers.
This is the fight where I sacrificed the bullfrog and I shouldn't have.
Oh, should have sacrificed the raven egg. Whoops. Oh.
This is the one. Yeah, this is the fight.
Actually, I'm actually going to restart this fight.
Yeah, I was heading someplace.
That was also a mistake.
I can do it in turn 1. I just sacrificed the wrong thing. Should have sacrificed the egg instead and then used the pliers.
Yeah.
It's fine. It happens.
No harm done. Maybe we'll get lucky and get the wolf.
Well, the seeding
it's already set.
It's actually set. There is some weird situations where...
See, that right there was just a regular fuck-up. I'm not too worried about that. Cause
kind of to prevent you from milling to a degree.
Yes, to a degree, yeah. Okay. We do that, and then we use both pliers. That's 5 damage overall because Pronghorn... Oops. Oh, we used a squirrel by accident. And
that was also a fuck-up.
5 damage, end the turn. Or 2 damage, end the turn, 5 damage. And we win. As I say, it's always better to use your items when you can, because there's always more items around the corner if you are aiming for that.
I think I only just noticed at that point that
slower, you do
that the mycologist
items.
is coming up.
We're not going to get jump scared this time, it's fine. You can recover. Oh, and yeah, I probably should have warned you at the beginning. There is some body horror aspects to this game. Every time I use those pliers, I am in fact pulling out my own teeth to put them on the scale.
Yeah, it's a bit strange in that sense.
Now we've got a doubly powerful Raven Egg. Yeah, this event allows you to combine things. It just wasn't a lot of point in me combining my wolves because we don't want too much over damage. Plus, I want to be able to keep as many wolves in one piece in my deck. There is times when you want to combine your wolves, but considering I've already got them powered up, oops, I actually can't play anything in this. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I lose this fight.
It will try its best to give you a playable. I can't play that either.
Yeah.
I also fucked up by not pulling a squirrel, but this fight would have been savable anyway. I lose to Raven Eggs, the irony. It's true.
Wow, okay. I might... Yeah, I lose this.
I think that's it, unfortunately.
That's fine, you do get 2 lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that was very unfortunate.
I should have drawn a squirrel, but wouldn't have mattered.
It's completely fine as long as you don't lose twice, and I won't lose again before the boss anyway, because there's no more fights. There is, however.
Yeah, exactly.
Grab this, and now I have to grab a plot important item after this event, and if I don't, then once again people will laugh at me because I've forgotten it many times before in the past, to the point where on my splits I've written the giant capital words "get the knife," because now we have to stand up, go over here, grab the statue which we freed earlier when we broke the caged wolf, pick up this dagger, and if you have problems with eye-related horror, then maybe don't watch this fight. Because,
mistake-free movement.
You will be using that knife to take out one of...
The reason why I was mistake-free movement, and it's because you could actually see my movement was very, very deliberate on purpose. I wasn't going to mention this, but since you did. Yeah, at this point I realized, like, I'd realized how to play with the slightly janky hardware that was in front of me. And so I was like, okay, I need to make all of my moves incredibly deliberate. So I was literally like lifting my fingers all the way up. I wasn't like tapping like I normally would. It was literally just like, which is why it was like way less smooth than it would normally be when I'm running at home. Very minor thing, but yeah. At this point, I'm kind of learning how to work with the hardware. Too bad it's like 5-6 mistakes deep because of it.
With your own eyes. Okay, what's the RNG look like?
I was also thinking about at this point. Oh yeah, this is fucking awful. I was also thinking about at this point the like, okay, if I have to be this deliberate with the hardware in Act 1, how the fuck am I going to get through Act 3? That was a concern at this point, but that concern gets immediately blown out of the water when I draw this fucking hand. That fucking Raven Egg, man. Oh, this fight hurts. This fight actually hurt. Like, I've not had a fight go on this long and still be successful since I played casually. No joke.
Here, not very good, actually, at all.
It's
That
fucking
is
awful.
really unfortunate RNG.
It's
okay.
Absolutely awful RNG.
I love the audio here.
The audio is great.
And
but
no items, yeah. Like,
I
only
don't
the
think I can
dagger.
win this fight.
Well, the only item I could have had here would have been a squirrel, which wouldn't have helped me anyway. You know what, Slazer? I was also impressed I got through this. Like, I legitimately thought, like, I was sitting here thinking, you can see it there. I'm like, fuck. You can see it there, me going, like, how do I win this fight? Oh, good God. And then it was just me thinking, alright, am I going to need to use a backup save for this? And, like, I was just thinking, actually, no, what I was thinking is, oh my God, is it finally happening? Am I needing the backup save again? Can I get out of this fresh hell and onto my somewhat consistent backup save file? Because yeah, you can see I am concerned. And Miri doesn't really know what's happening here, like why this is such a big deal, but you can tell by his body language. He knows something's up. He knows something's bad. And he's also very concerned. Hey man, how you doing? So yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Because when that flips, that's still gonna get caught. Oh, okay. All right. We're just doing a longer fight.
That's actually true. That's actually true. Like, I think in the second part of this fight, there's 2 Guardians, which is awful RNG. And if you don't have a lot of pelts built up, then you actually can't buy the cards to get them out of the way. So yeah, my terrible first half actually does help the second half. Well, I think it was 3. Yeah, well, we're about to see it. We're about to find out.
We can make this work. Hopefully.
That's a completely pointless play. I should not have played that rabbit pelt.
I do have backup saves if necessary.
And that was the wrong pickup as well.
Hoping they won't be necessary. This fight is not meant to be this long, even slightly. Okay, we can actually work with that. So. So normally what you're supposed to do, there's always a gap
I
there.
also played this too.
Yeah, that's the eyeball coming out. I should have warned you.
And I should have played the...
Normally
wolf.
there's supposed to be a gap there, which if you get
Should've
a
played the
card
wolf in the
with
middle.
literally any amount of power whatsoever, you can hit in and then also use the knife to finish out the last 5. But because I had that Raven Egg with 0 power, which is why you really don't want the Raven Egg, I actually managed to lose out on that one. So I'm gonna have to... right. Improvise a little bit, which is not
Again, that was...
completely
Me being unable to sacrifice cards was also the mouse just being weird again. Again, minor thing, but...
impossible. It's just
Is what it
not
is.
exactly what I wanted here.
And this is really showcasing like how much has to go well to get a really good run.
Yeah, no shit.
It's really unfortunate. Okay, we managed to make it to phase 2.
Yeah.
It's fine. Improvising.
Yeah.
Wow. The RNG has been spectacularly bad.
It really
That's
has.
impressive, but not bad
Like-
enough to need to use a backup.
Yeah, this was like a really unique combination of bad RNG. Normally, if RNG is bad at a marathon anyway, when at home you just reset. But if RNG is bad at a marathon, usually it's like, oh fuck. I guess the run's dead. here it was really terrible RNG, but it was good enough that the run could just consistently keep limping forward. Like, the run wanted to die so bad. Like, it prayed to the gods for death. But nope, just kept on limping.
Yeah, that's a plus.
I actually did need to use a backup last time I did this a marathon run, which wasn't my favorite thing.
2
ever.
Guardians right here.
Okay, so...
Plus Bloodhound.
You, and you, and you. Okay. We're actually good. This is totally fine. And that's enough damage. More than enough damage.
There we go.
We beat the Trapper. That is...
Nice.
That is boss 3 of Act 1 done. That was panic-inducing. But we're fine.
Oh, I do.
And
like, as bad as this went, and as funny as I do think it is, and as gut-wrenching as it was at times, I do recognize that this does mean that I actually know what I'm doing for the most part in this game. I did earn my spot here because of just how badly it went. And like how I was able to... yeah, I mean, yeah, you get to see the game longer. Realistically, this is weirdly affirming because, like, yeah, I got to do whatever I needed to do, and I was able to show it to people. Like, I deserve to be here. It's weird. Let's have a look at chat real briefly. Targeting no matter which context, you never top deck what you need. Fucking true, easy K1. And people actually like applauding, it's like, oh my god. Double Mole was unlucky, it's true. Okay. And then, of course, we're hoping for the Long Elk.
you get your reward. Unfortunately, I can't see anything anymore. This is the least important. No, I'll take another one of those.
Those fucking pickups. Long Elk is the poison one, yeah. Long Elk is the one I would need to do the Stoat setup, which I was unable to do. I do explain the Stoat setup in a bit. Essentially, you give the Stoat Touch of Death. You play it on the first turn in the end boss fight and makes the boss fight way faster. Amoeba was a Hail Mary, it's true, but not one that was worth taking. Like, this run was going bad enough as it is. I don't need to be picking up Amoebas.
They're all also bad. But it's fine, because he gives you a replacement eyeball.
Yeah, there's like a filter that makes it
it's determined to be stinky.
Oh no,
damn
this is totally normal. You can probably ignore that message. It's probably not important. Okay, so we're going into the final phase of Act 1. Once you get here, stand up and just finish out some puzzles that
I almost forgot to stand up.
Are around the place, including some stuff we are going to grab for safety purposes, including that ring. That ring allows us to get through a...
I wasn't super happy with my clock movement, but I'm never happy with my clock movement, so that's not new.
Very small challenge later on where he checks your deck for certain items, and that allows us to basically
I feel like these were okay.
Win. Okay, scissors.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, those fine items are fine. We are going to be hoping for one more instance of RNG. There's a small run-up section here, but if you mash fast enough, you don't need to do it because the game is already loaded in even when the screen's black like that. So we managed to get here very, very quickly. So we are doing...
I need to know what the odds are for what's about to happen. I need to know, like, I need a percentage of how incredibly unlikely this is to happen.
Testing the deck. We want to see what's in the deck here, and because we got a ring, we picked up the ring now. He says, hey, you've got a ring, you win. We're looking for 2 boons in particular. Not that one, also not that one. That's very unfortunate. Okay, rare, pelt, or that. We'll go for rare, because we picked up those pack rats, so we should be... There's the pelt, of course. Okay, we got no boons. That's fantastic. Alright. Worst case scenario, I can reset the RNG on... Not the RNG. I can reset and do those boons again, because I know I can get a pelt from the second one. You have no idea how very unlikely that was, by the way. That was extremely uncommon to happen. RNG just has it out for me today.
They never show up again.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't get a death touch though.
I think I have an untimely donation, Stan.
Yeah, please do.
It's from Cariola, $10 that says, "Let's go Berserker." He's hoping for
Close
all the
enough.
bonds, which I assume are.
Yeah, I got none.
Yeah, well, thank you anyway for that donation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And it went to the
tried.
Zorch target, so the incentive.
Okay.
We are $55 away. Keep them
Okay.
coming.
He said,
Well, I
for what it's worth.
also
Okay.
didn't manage to do a setup. Normally, you're supposed to do a setup where you give the Stoat the Touch of Death sigil. I didn't manage to find one of those in the run, so I didn't manage to do that setup. Normally, this
Did find
fight
one, just didn't pick it
is quite a bit easier because you can ignore that guy. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. At the very least, I can
Didn't
bust
actually
through
need to do that.
round 1
Didn't need to use that.
with no.
You did get
no
your
Touch
wish.
of Death setup and no boons. This is this could go places, not good places, and that's not really what we want to see either. Okay, it's okay though. We have scissors. That's something. We can still do the damage we need. Okay, this next part is going to be interesting. Because at this point he says, the moon's very dramatic, but doesn't help me much until
I miscounted. For some reason, I looked at it and went, "That's only 4 damage." Didn't need to use the pliers at all. That was a legitimate fuck up.
Still,
No
oh,
teeth
great,
left either.
Now,
at
normally
rate.
this is quite a funny situation where you get a touch of death
cannot
card and
scissor the
just
moon.
boop it and it dies. I'm not able to do that right now, so we'll see what happens. That's not a helpful item.
More
You see
bad
on the right there,
RNG.
it's 40 health.
Yeah, it's a very big card. You're supposed to be able to just outright kill it, but yep, that's not overly helpful right now. And that item is also not overly helpful because he can block flying things.
I also
So
feed
I'm
it a
just sort of hoping
squirrel.
I get
Not on
a
purpose.
card that's usable before my luck runs out. Before he gets so ahead of me that I can't summon anything. That is summonable, at least.
Yeah,
I just don't have the resources for it.
Whee!
Oh yeah, he also sucks squirrels into his orbit, which is very funny.
And I should have drawn squirrel there rather than rabbit
I
cub.
need one more squirrel. Well, we have 1,000 squirrels and 1 bear.
Again, hardware.
So, nice fun little
Yeah, I
fact for
could've.
everyone watching. While I've had bad RNG at events before, this is the worst RNG I've ever had.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
It's my very own, this has never happened before, except
There you go.
there it is.
Wolf finally decided to show up.
No, you actually take 2 hits from the guy, though, unfortunately. And also, we can make the moon stinky, so it actually doesn't do any damage to us anymore.
Like cheese.
Yes, Miri. Like
We did it.
Yeah, let's go. That was well recovered.
That
given
was a-
everything that's gone on.
Very long fight, but we just need to finish out and kill him. It's okay, we'll get to say hi to this deck again before the end of the run.
No, we won't.
Just so we can really appreciate it one more time how great it was.
He did.
Because this is where we're going to do the dismount into Act 2.
Oh my, did I just,
It's probably
I think I just
healthy.
made him. Oh,
Okay, and it's this part that most people realize, hang on, there's something else going on with this game.
True.
As we now
All
go
very
into
true.
the lore section.
Wasn't really thinking
Very
about that
deep,
this time.
Very intriguing
At this point.
lore. There's a lot of ARG elements and a lot of other things.
I mean, honestly, for the things you're saying are all correct, but if you're ever in a position where you need to use those, your run's pretty much fucked anyway. So, it's not a thing you're gonna think about in the moment.
So as you can imagine, we are going to just, skip right by it and ignore that.
I also
Which
did
is
that
good,
very
so
slowly
that
on
when you play
purpose.
this game casually by yourself, you can click through everything.
Oh, yeah,
'cause it is a
totally.
ton of fun, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not very fast.
Saving spoilers.
I mean, there's like probably what, 5 or 10 minutes of video in there, I think.
There's quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And this section is all about cursor placement. You want to place that right where the camera is, so you can grab it straight away. You want to nestle your cursor straight in his bosom there, so you're in the correct part of the screen to be able to grab the new game button, go to the starting screen, and suddenly we can start a new game.
Hey, remember from the beginning when we couldn't do that? Well, that was why.
Bought a strap new
Canonically
meta.
speaking, the game is now completely wiped, reset, and is now in the form that it's supposed to be in. This is a very difficult speed strat here where I just have to hold a button. So if you have any donations or anything, now's a good time for it.
Yes, I do. I have $60 from Slazer that says, awesome to see you destroying inscription at ESA for a great cause, Berserker. He's hoping for a run full of bone heaps, bunnies, and stimulation. With that donation that went towards the Zorch incentive, I can announce to you that every single incentive for Stream 2 has been met for today, and we have hit $46,000.
Oh, nice. Double let's go.
Actually, let's go. Thank you very much for your donation. There are still some rewards you can claim.
Huge.
You could check them out on the Tiltify campaign.
Wow, thank you.
Is a very small glitch here. Building a deck while the screen loads. Very exciting. Okay, yeah, thank you very much for those donations, guys. It really does mean a lot to everyone who is in a position to receive them. This is another safety strat to pick it out because it allows you to mulligan hand. So you might notice the game is very, very different now.
This is the part where you're like, are we even playing the same game? He did not like turn it off and start a different one.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of forget at this point that people who are watching the stream may not actually know like that Act 2 looks like this. So I kind of just gloss over it, but Miri does fill that in, so, you know, good job, him.
Same game.
And very bad RNG, just like the rest of the run. It's fine. The perfect RNG for that is to get a particular card, which means you can save 3 minutes. The unlock and so, which
I mean, that one, the unlock continues, bone heap. Okay, I'm guessing that's a bone reference. That one's like acceptable bad RNG. Because yeah, it sucks when you don't get it in an actual run, but to expect to get it in a marathon run is ridiculous. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. You wonder how many people like just sort of stop in Act 1 because I think I mentioned this earlier in the run. Because they just assume, oh, I get to the end and he kills me, without realizing that they can actually just keep going. The game eventually throws you a bone, in the sense that it starts to give you clues like, use the knife, and like little cutscenes and stuff. But some people still don't understand them because they're cryptic as hell if you just don't know what it's talking about. So it happens.
Lovely. Okay, we are once again in the hands of RNG as we need to try and draw some.
Where was that guy going? That guy had somewhere to be.
Card, which means you can save 3 minutes. So, which we didn't get. Lovely. Okay, we are once again in the hands of RNG as we need to try and draw some cards that allow us to win this fight.
Yeah, it's a magnificent space.
This will be a very short run. Mostly we're just trying to defend ourselves as much as possible. The goal here is to get rid of this Bonehound. He always jumps in front of whatever we play, so...
I also didn't play this fight great, but we got through it. There's really not a lot of notable things in it. Like, it's fine.
You want to try and kill him as quickly as you
Google the
can,
answer to that stuff.
while
I didn't
not taking
Google
too much
shit.
Damage.
I got through on my
The
own.
overall goal of this particular fight, is to do 4 over damage. So you get him down to 1 health and then do 5 damage.
I was a little
also
worried
building
here.
up enough bones, which is the currency of this particular section, so that you can...
Not strictly true. The bones are a resource, one of 3 resources. 3, 4? 3, 4-ish resources. The currency is foils. Not strictly accurate, but whatever.
Okay. You can actually do this right now. So yeah, so you can actually buy the bone heap, which is...
This is actually the biggest mistake I made. I played this earlier and didn't realize I was on 0 bones. That was a me mistake. That wasn't anything else. Because I didn't realize I was actually on 0 bones, meaning that I couldn't play anything else to catch up, meaning that I would accidentally kill him, so I end up having to hammer the Frankenstein card here.
The thing we would have gotten before, but were unfortunately unable to utilize.
Like, I realized at that point that I fucked up.
Okay. Now we're just waiting until we have enough bones to be able to play a successful win here, which we can do right now, I believe. We actually can't. Really unfortunate. 1 bone. Yeah. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. We have a bone.
Yeah. That was a fuck up.
Did concern myself for a moment there that I'd done bad math, but nope, we're good. So that's 5 damage, gives us 4 over damage, and allows us to buy the card that we would have actually had before. Now, if the game really wants to mock me, it'll give me the bone heap in this pack we're about to receive.
See, that moment of like, what's going on? That was entirely nerves. Again, not great, but entirely nerves. Like, realistically, I should have known that all I had to do was get one bone out of the hammering the Gravedigger, and then I'd be able to play the rest of my hand.
And it did not. Okay, we're fine. Would have been fine with it as well. It still saves about 30 seconds. It's just not what you actually want. Okay, so the goal of this act for speedrunners is more like a puzzle than it is playing the same game as before. Because you want to try and figure out how to get through this act as quickly as possible. I had to buzz the skeletons there so I didn't accidentally softlock the game.
That fucking menu softlock doesn't happen to anyone else who plays this game. Just me. And it's because of the way I interact with the menus is slightly different to everyone else. It's not a speed thing, it's a comfort thing. Hate that happens to me. But I was also very aware that it can happen, which is why I did these things to make sure it didn't.
Because that can happen if you're not going fast, if you're going too fast. So you have to do things in a very strange order, which isn't necessarily the order you'd expect to have to do them in.
I couldn't think of the word, was it in counterintuitive? I was like stuck on the word for counterintuitive for like the longest time. I just could not think of the word.
And it involves just trying to get yourself a very powerful card, which can then give you enough money to be able to fund the rest of the run. And that's not the cards that I want. We do need to defend against that, and if we don't, we will die. It's fine, we still have the things for that. Now we're actually, that's what we're looking for. Okay, because every time those are on the field, you get, every turn, you get one bone. You need enough bones to be able to use the bone heap that we just purchased to turn it into power and then do a massive...
Yeah, at this point, Miri doesn't even know what to say because I think Miri got as far as Act 3, but he clearly doesn't remember this section all that well. He doesn't really know... Because he doesn't know like any of the speed strats. He just played it casually, right? So this looks very strange from his point of view. He's like, why are you dealing with all these cards? Why aren't you playing any of these? Which is like a very, very normal reaction to this section where you don't know what's going on. Because one thing I don't think I highlighted well enough was how very specific Act 2 is. Which is why it's really bad when I fuck up Ouroboros setup. Pretty sure I fuck up Ouroboros setup. Yeah, no, I do. I do. And that was entirely nerves. Entirely. I do save it, though. Again, I improvise and I save it.
Amount of over damage. You also have to be very careful to either not die and also not kill them before you get to that round, so you really need to keep an eye on your health. Okay, there we go. Sometimes these can just not show up and it ruins your entire run. It's very likely that they will show up, especially because we make a point of padding the deck, so give you enough turns for them to show up. But if they just don't want to, over than the last like 3 or 4 cards in the deck, you're done. And it's very unfortunate when you're on a good run and that happens. Okay, no more damage to him.
So I believe the goal of this section, we're kind of trying to run around and collect a handful of items to kind of progress through. I think you hinted at this kind of puzzle, right?
Yes, pretty much. And that is actually all we needed. It's just telling us how to use activate abilities. So the goal of this section is to defeat the 4 scribes, which was briefly described in that opening cutscene that I mostly skipped through. Slightly short, but that's fine. We don't need these anymore. So everything we're doing now is setting us up so we can just one turn kill every fight. That is, until a little bit later, that is the goal. We need exactly 19 over damage, so... is it going to get the bone heap here? We still didn't. Okay, that's fine. It didn't give us what we wanted, but it also didn't mock us afterwards. So we can actually, strangely, leave this area now. You think once you're in the area, it's fast as you just finish it.
Still couldn't think of the word counterintuitively.
It's not, and that's because of the setup we're about to do, including a couple of puzzle elements, which may seem familiar from the first act.
Was that the same code?
That was the same code,
Ah,
yes.
Throwback. I never noticed that.
So we want Ouroboros, which we did pick up in the first act, but we were unable to power it up, which is fine. The regular setup powers it up in Act 2 anyway. But if we'd been able to power it up in Act 1, it would have kept its power up. and that would have meant that this part of Act 2 would have been a lot faster. But it's okay. Most runs don't manage to do that. Oops. Do that. And now we're building our deck in a very strange looking way. Our deck is now entirely 0 cost cards plus 1.
I liked his facial expression there. Sorry, I just noticed it.
Should do that.
Look at his facial expression when I build this deck.
And now we're building our deck in a very strange looking way. Our deck is now entirely 0 cost cards plus 1 Ouroboros card. The Ouroboros gets more powerful every time it dies. So you can power that thing up to a, eventually it'll be a 5/5. Yep, that's a good start. And
give you a hat. What more do you want? Buns, all the buns. Which with the way this run is going will probably happen. Yeah. It's not even that big of a deal. It's just ugh.
There's a very specific setup that we have for it, including killing it now on purpose, and then passing a few turns. And once you do that, it becomes a 1-turn kill, which is exactly what we want. So, yeah, one more. Okay. So, we're not going to put it up to the 5/5 just yet. Do that. We do that. And that's the 4 damage we have left over, because we are going to power up one more time in a following required fight. And these cards can no longer give us bone heaps, so it's okay, we don't have to worry about the mockery just yet. So at this point you're taking pictures from around the place to prove that you've accomplished various goals, so that...
I cannot get this menu placement right. It's an incredibly minor thing, like at most it loses you a second. But it annoys me to no end. Also, Macadron played through your Ouroboros, became a 12/12. Those are rookie numbers, Thega Burrito. You gotta bump those numbers. Bunny butt hug. Steady on. So that the 12/12 Ouroboros, rookie numbers. Absolute rookie numbers.
That particular last one, we took a picture of a dog to show that we've seen a dog. And this one, we've taken a picture of a fish to prove we've seen a fish. It's very deep lore stuff over here. Okay, this is the fight where we finish powering up, well, not finish, but mostly power up the, yep, we're good. The Ouroboros for this continuing section.
I got so distracted here.
Purposely let him hit us, and then we play this.
I actually don't know what happened here to make it that I didn't power this up. Like, in my mind, while I'm playing this, I did this right. I don't know what I did wrong. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
This last skeleton, because that flips over, to do the remaining 4 damage. And of course we want to...
Right. Okay. I see what I did there. So what I was supposed to do is kill the Ouroboros one more time. And then use the... That's true, actually. That is a thing you can do. But yeah, I was supposed to kill the Ouroboros one more time, and then use these 2 skeletons to summon it and do the 4 damage. In my mind, what I did was I must have confused this section, without, like, subconsciously, confused this section for when it's powered up, so when you want to do the Ouroboros plus skeleton. I don't know how I made this mistake. Like, I had all the components, I played it correctly until this moment. That must have been down to nerves, or just, like, distracting myself. Oh, no. Not really. Not really. Like, I do fix it. I improvise heavily. And you will see it. But at this point, I just forgot to break the Ouroboros. I'm surprised. Because I did the setup, right? I just didn't follow through with it. It's weird. It's really weird. It is. It is a mistake that's big enough to throw out the whole run if it wasn't in a marathon. Like that, this would make me reset easily.
Always avoid doing over damage, and if you do the right setup, you will avoid doing over damage in this section, because over damage is slow. There's a couple of things we don't like in this game.
Very true.
One of them is rabbits. If you do like rabbits, it's probably now a good thing.
It's okay. So autopiloting is definitely what happened. But that shouldn't have happened there. It's a very strange thing that happened to me, because it's like I was autopiloting, but the autopilot was coming from a different part of the run entirely. It's very weird. That shouldn't have happened there. I think I basically was just distracted with, the fact that loads of stuff had already gone wrong, and trying to explain everything. Nerves, obviously. So, it's a very weird one to have happened. But, yeah.
Time to look away, because we're just going to push this roundabout there. Probably don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
That guy needed to. And so now we've proven that we've seen a rabbit. We will go over to what was the trader and is now the trapper, because he sees that you've done that to a rabbit, and he's like, oh, I smell a rabbit, and fights you.
They do know what we've done, unfortunately.
Okay, this is actually the reason you pick up the clover. This is a terrible hand. You actually need at least one skeleton in it, because for the longest time,
I just noticed that I didn't power up the Ouroboros right there. I was like, look at that face. That's the, oh fuck. That's the, I just gone and fucked that up face.
I did not power up the Ouroboros, unfortunately. Okay, this is going to be a slightly longer fight than I had intended. But that's okay. And we're actually going to do some over damage because, yeah, I did that wrong. And it's fine. Okay. So I'm resetting that fight because I can do it a little bit better. This is a very...
can do it a little bit better. Absolute lie, by the way. Absolute lie. What I was hoping for was that the Ouroboros would have died. I could then surrender the fight and do it normally. But then when I got back in the fight, I realized I actually quit out too early. And the Ouroboros hadn't died yet. It was another fuck up on top of a fuck up.
New players, because your shop has now just turned into a guy. And if we... Yep. Okay.
I'm trying desperately to figure out how the fuck am I going to do this.
And... So unfortunately this fight is going to take a bit longer because I messed it up a little bit.
And then
but that's okay, we're back where we want to be right now. So normally you want to try and in the fisherman's fight, you'd actually want to hit the... You want to hit the Ouroboros.
Yeah, that was a very stressful moment of the run. And I think I'm handling it quite well here, but you can tell how, like, relieved I am that that actually worked out the way it did. Because, yeesh, that sucked. That really fucking sucked. Whoops.
I think once you're in the area, it's fast as just finish it. Likely that they will show up. That's in a very straight...
Speed running back to where I was.
A rabbit and fights you. Time? That wrong.
Let's not watch my horrific mistake again.
Fisherman. You'd actually want to hit the... You want to hit the Ouroboros and power it up to a 4-4. So that way now, every fight from now on would be a... the ideal hand would be Ouroboros plus a skeleton to get 5 damage out. The way you draw cards in this game, as I said earlier, isn't...
Yeah, it's at this point... It's at this point that I realized that I fixed my mistake and I relax a little bit. And I realized, of course, that I have to calm the fuck down. Because this fight is actually very easy to fuck up. Very easy. I'm thinking at this point, okay, you need a very specific hand to start with. Don't try and run it without the... Good Ike? Crazy? Okay. Like, don't try and run this fight with the wrong hand. Like, heart palpitations and everything. Like, this fight is not hard, but considering how many fuck-ups have happened, yeah, it was stressful.
Exactly random. It will always try to give you a playable hand, which in real terms, so not a playable hand, in real terms, will mean that if your card deck is filled with nothing but 0 cost stuff, plus the Ouroboros, you will always draw the Ouroboros plus a collection of 0-cost cards. Until we get this to a 5/5, we actually want it to just be 4/4. That way we can avoid overdamage because there is a required death for this creature later on. This is actually the faster RNG for the fight, not including the
not including the fact that I fucked it up by putting a skeleton there.
Notwithstanding the mulligan I had to take. And I did 1 extra overdamage by accident because I didn't actually need to play that skeleton. That's okay though, because that is actually the first boss of Act 2 down.
Nice.
These fights are very, very scripted, and they are very, very... oh, glitch coming up. They're very, very scripted, and they're very, very... They have the exact same strats every time. Okay, we do a quit out here. Intentional quit out. You actually avoid some conversation. Don't accidentally go to a new game. Don't do that. You ignore a cutscene when you do that. Not a lot, not a big save, but it is.
I always act like at that point, like, oh, if you start a new game, oh, it's really bad. Yeah, the game actually gives you a warning when you do that. It says, are you sure you want to start a new game? Like, there's a big text box. It is basically impossible to accidentally start a new game. That's just a bit of entertainment and showmanship for you there. And also a light bit of lying.
Save. And now we come back and actually finish Grimora's section over here. Which, in real terms, because we had to use backup strats, means we only have 1 fight. Normally you'd have to do 2 fights. Okay, we got a skeleton. We're happy. Play you there. And fight is down. So we've got 1 puzzle section coming up, which is going to involve 1 potential skip. There is a chance to skip Grimora's dialogue in this next upcoming section. I'll go try to do it, but if I don't do it, it doesn't lose you that much time.
I did consider, at that section, there's the mirror. If you walk into the mirror, then it randomizes your character model. I considered if I didn't get a hat, that I would keep going until I got a hat. I considered it. But I had a hat, so it wasn't really an issue.
It's all down to timing. If you can time your menu presses at the correct times, which you'll see a lot of later.
I'll be honest, I don't know the timing. I don't know the timing for this glitch. I've no idea. It is down to timing. I have no idea what the timing is. I just wing it. Sometimes it works.
Then you will... And these are always the same, by the way.
Yeah, I said these are always the same, but why are you going so slow? My hand was fucking shaking at this point. I had to be, like, so careful with these epitaphs, because, like, I was also, like, I just forgot what they all were. I was, like, looking at them, like, oh, which one is it? For every single one, just out of sheer nervousness. Hey, where are you going? Get the fuck back down. Tabs units down. See, I do that, and it don't work sometimes.
Sure, I click the right ones.
Where the fuck you going? Get back in!
If you time your button presses properly, then you can actually get away with a lot of stuff in this game. Like, a lot of stuff. And I managed to do it. I just skip over a bunch of dialogue.
Nice.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but at that point, I was saying that, like, oh, I did it. And then I paused and I managed to skip over a bunch of dialogue. I was expecting an applause. I don't know why. Why would anyone care? Why would anyone be like, oh yeah, that's a really hard thing to do. Yeah, good job. I don't know why. But in my mind, I was like, well, they've been applauding for other shit. Why not that? Buzzword is bossed out. True. Very true.
We got what we wanted there, so play you there.
I also nearly fucked this up, but
we don't go straight for the 1-turn kill because we have to get rid of the Bonehound.
The reason I said that is because I was literally about to do it. I was literally about to go like, and skeleton goes down. Oh, fuck. But I didn't. That's the important thing.
Turn 1 to turn 1.
There is a bad word coming up, so I do apologize. You must shield your ears. Because this is the scripted death I talked about.
Oh, fuck.
It hurts me every time. And now, we've got a 5/5 Ouroboros, meaning that we have a turn 1 kill in our opening hand. We no longer want to see skeletons be drawn. We only want to see squirrels because they are faster, very slightly. And that's boss 2 down.
Nice.
The reason you don't turn 1 the first phase is because of the Bonehound. The Bonehound will jump in front of anything you play, and you need the extra thing in hand to be able to summon Ouroboros in the following phase. So even if you get multiple skeletons in your hand, you can't play it, because then the Bonehound will always block one thing, and if it's that one thing is the Ouroboros will kill it. If it's a skeleton, the Ouroboros will hit them, do 4 damage, but like not enough. So you'll end up doing over damage as well. It's just not really a viable thing to do.
We have the setup for the rest of the round here. Let me try and get a very funky looking glitch going here.
I think it's funky looking anyway.
Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. You can soft lock there by going for that glitch, but now, because I managed to quit out between the packs, the game doesn't really want you doing that. I did manage to get that one. So the game both considers her...
I've actually somewhat figured that one out. I figured out what I was doing wrong to make it soft lock. So hopefully I'll never soft lock there again. But yeah. But yeah.
Defeated and not defeated at the same time, delaying a cutscene. So she is defeated by game standards. But you'll see a very strange thing happen later on as a result of that.
Yes. Oh yeah, I completely fucked this up as well. But that's the one I always fuck up. Of the 3 pillars
that we'll be appreciating later. As for now, though,
the 3 pillars, that's the
really interact with
that's the one I always fuck up.
And this will be the next 3 fights. Just play cards and you will win turn 1 as long as you play the Ouroboros.
Casually, each section kind of has like their own mechanic that you have to play around and kind of learn how to play, which is a ton of fun.
Why does this not look like the inscription?
But when you're just one-shotting everything, we're kind of skipping over a lot of that.
Also, if you just know what you're doing here as well, like you know the amount of button presses that you're supposed to do for each of these, it just goes straight through. This is a whole section where you're supposed to figure out symbols to go for. Doesn't matter. If you just know them, it's fine.
Yeah, there's like a whole kind of problem-solving section. It's a lot of fun. Oh no, they're dead.
And there we go. And for the next fight, I do have to ask if the audience is ready for stimulation. It's a... And I assure you that's not as rude as it sounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
As we see our friend of the run, at last, stimulation. As he's been trapped in the dark and is just desperate for any amount of contact.
Can relate.
Yeah, the boss of this section is a real jerk. He does very nasty things to his students. And once again...
There's not a lot for me to like say in these sections. I'm trying to be entertaining. The nerves have like worn off quite a bit because I realize I'm actually pretty dang safe for this part. All of the issues that I have here are actually... They're not even hardware issues. I was going to say they were hardware issues. They weren't. This act has like very sticky inputs to begin with. Like, if you don't time it exactly correctly, you'll end up flailing all over the place. Just like trying to click around to get stuff to go properly. And you do see that later in that one fucking puzzle that I hate. Ugh. But yeah. I was also a little worried when I said, like, are you ready to be stimulated? And everyone was like, I was like, oh no. Have I said the wrong thing? Apparently it worked out. It was fine. Alright, moving on.
We don't spend a long time with the Lonely Wizbot, which is unfortunate.
I was going to say we don't spend a long time stimulating him, but considering the reaction I got before, I decided not to say that.
Because you spend a lot more time with him if you play the No Major Glitches version. He's very actually integral to the run.
That is true.
However, we're doing unrestricted, meaning that things are going to get wacky.
Also true.
So you may have noticed there's not been a lot of glitches so far.
This fucking fight. This is not literally the worst it could have been. It just sort of like, it's the cherry on top of the run, right? We do this entire run. RNG is horrific. I'm making mistakes left and right. The hardware's fucking up all over the place. And then this fight. The RNG of this fight is just a real kick in the nuts.
Just wait for Act 3. The ideal RNG here is to never see any skeletons. You want to see nothing but squirrels and never see that sigil.
There it is.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, so the reason you never want to see rabbits here is because this happens. You'll draw another card and it will get painted again.
Because scrolling in the side on the screen.
Yeah, he does that.
So good.
So that was terrible, but it's not been worse actually.
There was no.
Okay, we didn't get another rabbit at the end on a skeleton, and the strat for this fight is very hard. Just don't stand in front of the big beefy guy. Boss 3 is down.
One to go.
One more for Act 2.
What the? I'm reading.
And then
Hotspot. What the fuck? Huh? You just. How long ago did someone say that? What the fuck? Didn't Lurk say that, like, way further up? Yeah, there it is. My dude, Budspot. They said that, like, 16 minutes ago? You good? You alright? God, man, you need to, like, sit down or something? Jeez. But hey, we get to see the glitch that I appreciate, but no one else does.
that's definitely the end of the game, wink wink.
Oh, totally. Okay, here's the next glitch.
Delayed, but yes.
Things are a little bit overlapped at this point. You're not supposed to be able to see this lore section now. You're supposed to get it after your second boss kill. However, because of the glitch we managed to do, quitting out the exact right time, we're able to overlap picking up this card pack with loading this next lore section.
I'm annoyed that this glitch doesn't save more time. I wish it did. It doesn't. It saves like 10 seconds. It looks cool. Not really. It looks weird. And, you know, it's an unrestricted run, so use all the glitches you can, especially ones that save any amount of time, but...
Meaning that once we get back in the game, we're actually able to move without picking up cards.
What, Buttspot join a union now? He's now allowed bathroom breaks?
Let's see where you're going.
Awesome, my movement wasn't great there,
And there
but...
we go, we didn't have to pick up those as a result. This is probably my least favorite part of the game, not because it's difficult, it's just annoying. Annoying to me personally.
I didn't care for this part at all casually either.
It's only annoying to me personally. No one else dislikes it.
I didn't particularly care for it.
It's because in Act 2, inputs are quite sticky, and...
I'm also just kind of ignoring Miri at this point. Like, I'm sort of very much in my own head. Like, I'm in, like, just commentator mode. I couldn't really bounce off him a lot, because I'm not used to doing that. Again, he's a cool guy. I'd love to have him on another one of my runs in the future, maybe. But yeah, it's, I found it difficult to bounce off him in this section, especially because he didn't really know what to say, either. And I could tell that he was just saying stuff for the sake of being there and saying stuff. But, yeah. That's why I'm like, he's like, oh, I didn't care for this section. Like, oh, I'm the only one like doesn't like it. Well, I didn't like it. Nah, fuck you.
And if you try and do these quickly, these things are quite sticky and they sometimes don't behave. So if it ever looks like I'm just sort of standing there doing nothing, it's not intentional. It's just the game being the game. Especially Act 2.
This is not the part I thought it was.
Yeah, no,
okay,
we'll get to that.
This part actually was quite fun.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the fights themselves are just much the same. Okay, and these are some of the... Oh, all these fights are required. But there is one upcoming fight that's...
Well, I would say something in chat here of Act 1 puzzles are worse than this to you. I get that. And they are probably worse in terms of... Because you have to click the squares to move them. And if you click on the top half of the square, it moves up. And you click on the bottom half of the square, it moves down. And it's very easy to accidentally slip over that line. Or if if you're moving fast enough, the game to interpret that you're on the other side of that line. So it can be very, very annoying to get them to go in the right direction. That puzzle can also very much misbehave. But I still find these puzzles more annoying. Just because of the way Act 2 is made, is comprised, is built up, is the engine of it, as it were. It makes everything so much stickier. And it's annoying because it also comes after having to play a bunch of cards as well, which have the exact same issue. So that's why I find this more annoying, personally.
It's incredibly difficult. And you'll see that when we get there, not the next one. Okay, this next puzzle coming up is my least favorite thing in the entire game. It doesn't behave. at all. And that's actually wrong. I did that wrong. There you go. Hate that puzzle. That particular one just does not behave. It's always
Fuck that puzzle.
the same solution, but trying to do it quickly is the worst. Okay, and
We're also about to have another hilarious jape coming up. Are you guys ready to be japed?
Oh no, they're dead.
they are dead. Okay. You might be noticing you don't get any packs from these guys. In this section, you get your booster packs from the random chests that are around the place. Obviously, we don't pick those up because we don't need them. We already have our one-turn kill. And these puzzles are always the same. We manage to stand here, we get there a little bit before it opens, save like 0.02 seconds. And this is the hardest fight in the entire game. And I'm so good I managed to beat it without playing any cards.
Wait, what? What happened?
Yeah,
I
that
japed.
fight, it'll end regardless of what you do on turn 1. You cannot lose that fight
Gotcha.
for lore reasons.
Oh, that's Miri, not Grink, sorry.
But that particular
Grink is the guy on the microphone off camera. That's Miri. But yes, his face was like, wait, what? wait, what happened? Let's have a look at his face again, because I'm so goddamn narcissistic that I think everything I say is hilarious. I've probably gone back too far. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's okay. It's cool. He is on the screen.
and I'm so good I managed to beat it without playing any cards.
Wait, what? What happened?
What a jape! What a goof!
Yeah, that fight, it'll end regardless of what you do on turn 1. You cannot lose that fight
Gotcha.
for lore reasons. But that particular fight, it's a guaranteed win. There is
What a
actually a fight
goof.
which is a guaranteed lose coming up, so, you know, that I suppose technically is the hardest fight in the entire game.
This matters to absolutely none of you in
It's a
chat,
guaranteed win.
but I'm mentioning it for my own sanity.
There is actually a fight which is a guaranteed lose coming up, so
This is not good placement. You can actually see the pixels touching each other. That's incorrect. I'm supposed to be at least 3 full pixels to the left. Tragic. Absolutely tragic. Just ban me from the community right now.
you know, that I suppose technically is the hardest fight in the entire game.
It's because it lines up with the door. You do have to travel slightly further that way, but you got to go that way anyway. Whereas if you stop here, if you stop too far, then you bump this corner. So you have to be slightly further over so you can just hold down and get straight out of the door. If you graze the corner
Okay,
at
the
all,
strat
it's
for this
slow.
boss is stick the Ouroboros there. There's a whole conveyor belt thing which moves things around, and you can steal your cards, you steal his cards. But the reality is, if you put it there, once he's going to copy your card, fill your board with it. It looks very, very scary, but then he makes a gap. And then you just do 5 damage and you win, and that is the final boss of Act 2 down. Done.
Where's my applause?
As we are now going to the dismount of Act 2 into Act 3. You can do the quit out glitch here as well, but there's just no point. It's much faster to just pick up the cards at this point because you're just going to run to the
See,
end.
I bumped it. We're going back.
You
We're
can
watching
do
it again.
the quit out glitch here as well,
Watching it again.
but there's just no point. It's much faster to
Tragic display. Look at this.
because you're just going to run for the end.
Ah, tragic. Everything was ruined because of that.
And there's a cutscene section here where you can talk to any one of them, but PO3 always butts in. So it's just quicker just to go straight to him. And now the actual hardest fight in the game. I can't believe I lose that fight every time. Ugh. Rough. It's a required lose. You go to Act 3 when you lose that fight.
He's like,
Maybe a bit of a volume warning for
You
headphone
surrendered.
users here.
Crank it.
It's beautiful. It's reminiscent of
I will say, the audio team for ESA, I can say a bunch of bad shit about the hardware I was using, but the audio team, good job. I see you. I hear you. Audio team, good job. Because this, not only was this not, like, painful in my own ears, it wasn't painful on the stream either, after the fact, so, yeah, good job. But, like, the rest of the game was, like, perfectly hearable. I don't know if they adjusted that in real time or what, but good job, audio team. Respect.
2000s internet.
It's like I'm trying to like talk over it, but I realized, wait, I don't actually need to like speak up for this. I'm fine. What the fuck?
Dial-up noise.
Way too dank.
As we go into Act 3, and we're going to try and attempt one of the glitches that I found, my personal stamp on this game, as the game once again completely changes format. If you move in a very specific way here, you can progress one whole screen without and skip over one line of dialogue. In real time,
the tech team is actually off to the side there, so I'm wondering maybe Miri was like looking at the tech team and they were like, what the fuck was that noise? Or something. I don't know. Like I said, they handled it incredibly well. So maybe this was a like, what the fuck was that? I don't know.
Terms, you still have to stop and listen to the dialogue, so you save a massive 0.3 seconds.
No, that's
still
right
the same game, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is all the same game. Let's see if I can do it in front of people. I did it! Yeah!
Let's go. Huge skip.
That is
the huge bang happens right at the end when Magnificent is crawling.
Okay, good placement. This next section is what we playfully call the boring 4, because it's the first 4 fights of the act, which all look very, very normal comparatively. The goal of the section is basically just to survive until you can win. It looks a little more stressful than it actually is. I'm probably going to go to quite low health, but that's just the way it rolls. And the next 4 fights are fairly normal, barring some horrific RNG, so if you have any announcements or anything, now is a great time for that.
Yes, I do. I want to remind everybody that you can claim shirts on the Tits for campaign. You can input exclamation card, exclamation.
I'm sure he didn't say that, but I really just heard him say the Tits for campaign. Roll it back.
Or anything, now is a great time for that.
Yes, I do. I want to remind everybody that you can claim shirts on the Tits for campaign. You can
Tits for campaign. That's all I hear. Tits for campaign. What kind of show is this?
You can input exclamation card, exclamation mark, donate, sorry, exclamation card. Yeah, seeing all these cards just trip me up. There's the Goosebird shirt, not the Goobert one. You can claim for 40.
Yeah, I think I only misestimated by like 4 minutes, and that does include the Goobert stuff. And I know I spent like a couple of minutes doing that, so I don't miss it like massively. But yeah, like at this point, it's like, oh, like starting Act 3 at 51 minutes is pretty bad.
Those and the ESA Winter 2024 shirt that you can claim. Also, while we have hit all of the incentives of Stream 2, and thank you for these generous donations, there's still 2 rewards you can claim. The Smooshy Come Home, you can choose the mushroom, either the sparkle or the bowl one, and the Deus Ex Human Revolution, you can choose the language, English, French, German, Spanish or Italian. Also, a general reminder that ESA is being restreamed in different languages. You can check them out, exclamation mark, restreams.
Okay.
Also, Fioid, I know I'm not crazy. I definitely could have done this entire section much faster. But I wanted to do it in the way that I was most comfortable with, rather than going for the things which were like technically correct but less comfortable for me. Having said that, pretty sure I fuck up one of the boring 4 fights, so...
This is a part of the run where you can potentially lose a lot of time if you're not super careful, but by and large we should be okay here. I'm just gonna do that. I'll lose my sniper, but it's fine. I don't actually need him. Okay. You also want to avoid overdamage.
When I said I'll lose my sniper, but it's fine, I thought I was about to win. I thought I had 1 more damage than I actually had. I miscounted. I scared myself a little bit here.
Damage here as much as you can, but it might look like I'm about to lose, but I'm not. So I did that to avoid overdamage.
You're probably not wrong, Firewood. I probably do need to practice to make it more
because, you know, the other thing, the run hates is Well, one thing is rabbits, the other thing is capitalism. You don't want to gain any money in this round. It's very slow.
It's a slightly less creepy currency than the first deck.
Yeah, it's just dollars in this round.
Yeah, instead of teeth.
Okay, there is RNG here which can speed things up, and I didn't get it. It's just if that guy turns up around behind the one that you played before. Other than that, it's nothing particularly special.
I think I did this part a bit slower, like I didn't need to do this.
Just now realized that the cards are floppy disks.
Oh yeah, they are.
Wow.
Like I think I could have done this a little faster, but...
And that's exactly 5 damage.
Nice.
Overblade doesn't matter. I mean, with the strats that I
Okay, we got
use,
to our first checkpoint. We
the
have
way I
one
play it.
more fight to do in the boring 4.
plus it's, you know,
includes a bunch
better to
of
make it look like I know what
chatting.
I'm talking about.
We get to go around this fight because there's a little side path here.
Is this the fight I fuck
And
up?
last
I
fight.
feel like I
is
fucked this fight up.
Pretty much the fight that's
Like, I don't think I have to
hardest
reset it.
beat,
I think
but
I
it's
just
also
fucked it
not
up.
that difficult if you know what you're doing. The first couple
But I'm
of
not
moves are
really
always exactly
remembering.
the
Let's
same.
find out.
Empty vessel into energy bot.
The untrained
And
eye.
if you do the energy
Yes.
bot, you have to do the energy bot first because if you don't have enough energy and you'll probably lose.
Yeah, I think this is the
Otherwise,
one that
we'll
I
be
kind
fine.
of screw up.
That's
a
not the
little bit.
best RNG, but we'll live with what we can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have to restart this fight, don't I? Do I have to restart this fight?
Yeah, that could be better, but it's fine. Oops.
Yeah. Because then I've got the double gunner going. That was the fuck up. I'm not sure how I did that. I remember that I fucked this up somehow. I just didn't remember exactly how.
Now we don't.
Like, obviously I played the wrong card here. If I'd played the double gunner, I probably would have been okay. If I'd played the double gunner and then the shield bot in, or just an empty vessel in front of the swap bot here, I probably would have been fine. But the fact that I played the shield bot there meant that it wasted my turn, didn't do enough damage, and I was just too far behind. Getting the double gunner now would have been, like, much more important. Yeah, I waited for 5 energy to play a 3 energy card. Yes, very true. And I realized even if I played the double gunner now, it wasn't going to be enough.
And unfortunately, I played the shield bot in the middle, so I actually am going to have to restart that fight. Like I said, if you make a single mistake.
I didn't need to restart the fight. I did not need to restart that fight. Because he's down to 2 HP.
And
Yeah, I could have just blocked the swap bot. I think I was just flustered because I'd made a mistake. It's funnier to restart though, is it? Yeah, it was like literally all I had to do was empty vessel, the swap bot, and I mean I could just leave the energy bot there, it'd be fine. Then shield bot would have done 1 damage, and then another swap bot would have appeared there. But that would have still left that space open. All I had to do is play more empty vessels. I didn't need to restart this fight. Huh. That was not going through my head at the time at all. Wow, yeah, that was a fuck up.
unfortunately, I played the shield bot in the middle, so I actually am going to have to restart that fight. Like
I guess
said,
it's because
you
I'd
make
like
a single
really
mistake. These fights are a lot harder, but that's okay. What I meant to do was play the. And I'm back at the checkpoint, of course. I meant to play the double gunner in the middle, which would have done 4 damage instead of the 1 that the shield damage.
Entirely possible, yes.
Bot does.
Just a little more chat.
Unfortunate. There is one particular person in chat that is going to be furious with me right now,
That was like exact timing as well. Nice.
telling me to practice this section.
You're still doing great.
I know.
No, I'm great.
Like, realistically, as far...
Yeah, for marathon, I mean, yeah, it's a marathon, and this is a supremely random game.
It's
so.
not even that. It's as far as how bad the RNG was in Act 1.
Right, yeah,
I am
true.
stunned it's gone this well. I'll play this slightly differently so I can just kill the double gunner here, rather than having to wait an extra turn for it as well. And I can just do that.
I think that message you mentioned did just show up in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was thinking in chat, like, okay. Obligatory practice boring 4 message. Smiley
Smiley
face.
Yep. The timing on that was actually pretty great. That was impressive. Like I swear I was not reading the chat. I think it was at this point that I did just like glance over at some point. Like, if you ever see me like
how you doing?
looking over here.
Yep.
Like, no, I haven't actually done it yet. At some point, I do look over to confirm that.
And I got some over damage there, so we unfortunately saw some very slow captors. Okay, and at this point, everything stops breaking. Dang technology, and we are forced to stand up once again to do some puzzles. There's slightly less puzzles in this round, but there is some. And we got to prove, since we're going fast, we're not a TAS. And
it's a captcha.
Yep. It's very important to prove that you are not a robot. Grab this battery and sit back down and carry on. Oh, sorry.
I just straight up forgot I was wearing a headset. At that point, like, because obviously these headphones, I don't have a microphone here. I forgot that I was wearing a microphone. So I was like, I'm going to scratch my face. Gonna drag some gravel through your ears, don't mind me. That annoyed me a bit. Like, I was like, oh my god, how did I forget I was wearing a headset? Yeah, it was like less than a second.
It's very important to prove that you are not a robot. Grab this battery and sit back down.
I'm just gonna like...
On.
Oh, sorry. There you go. That was it. It annoyed the hell out of me. Like, I brushed the microphone and you can hear it in the speakers. Like, that's it. Watching the gameplay, god, why?
Okay, so you may have been noticing that we've been avoiding upgrades.
I was so fucking nervous about missing the backup here. Because I did that at a previous marathon. It was one of the remote ones, I think. Where I fuck up the first one of these. And I was so paranoid I was about to do it again. Like, I was full on frightened. So I do the first one so carefully. But because I do the first one so carefully, I fuck up the second one. Which is nowhere near as bad. But, like, for speed, obviously it is. But... like, that's what's about to happen.
Partially because upgrades are stinky. And partially because now we can do this. You're not really meant to be able to do this. By very careful manipulation of...
Getting very confused.
Yeah, unfortunately I did that a little bit wrong, but that's okay. We can fix that later. By carefully manipulating things, you can duplicate some events, and you can place some events on top of others. As a result of that, you're able to get the game to ignore certain facts about what's going on, including by doing this. Not a bot, just a regular fight.
Okay.
By doing this, selecting that, the fight's done.
Oh, alright.
Like, you say no Amiibot, surprising how the suck went. You have a real hate on for Amiibot. I understand why you hate Amiibot, but I don't have nearly the same hate that you do. Granted, I don't go as fast as you, so that could be why, but still.
Alright, that works.
And this is the main tech for Act 3 here. By doing this very carefully and with very, very specific routing, you're able to use events to smash through other events. I did do a very slight mistake earlier, but because of Fiode, who I mentioned in chat earlier, we were able to discover a backup for this situation. So we can just go through this. Normally we would use another event to go through this because it's slightly faster.
I'm also going slower at this section because I'm trying to explain shit and I distracted myself. Not really a big deal.
Just make sure we don't get rid of the double gunner. It's very important. But this is fine because we can go back and get the backup that we just missed.
You promised broken and you delivered.
It gets a lot more broken than this.
Oh no.
Okay, and just wait for a moment.
So
event ends. And we win the fight.
In the stream chat here, is Berserker causing the glitch or Berserker playing as a guy playing a game that caused the glitch? Yes.
Okay, so we're about to do the first boss, but because I messed up a grab earlier, I've got to go back and use an event that we actually duplicated. Normally you'd only be able to use these once, but because I duplicated this and I did it again, you can go back and use that one as a backup. Before we actually knew this backup, before we knew the backup of duplicating, if you
I actually forgot I made this mistake. Yeah.
Mistake in this act, your entire run was done. You might have been over around an hour into it.
Very ironic that I'm explaining what happens if you fuck it up, and then I fuck it up.
And boss is done.
Too early.
Oh wait, I think I did that too early.
Oh no.
I think it should be fine. I just think I did it too early. I did do it too early. It's okay. We can do it again. Before we knew this backup, you could be nearly an hour into the run, and if you make one mistake, like I've made a few already, the run would just be dead. Super dead. Nothing you could do about it. Start over.
Doesn't sound super marathon
It's
safe.
not, which is why you haven't seen this until closer to now.
Backup's always good.
Yes.
Like, legit, Violet, you are probably... This backup is legit probably the best thing that has happened to this run. Because yes, if you're going for like world record pace times, obviously you don't fuck up, you don't take a backup. Obviously. But legitimately, it made the running of the game so much less stressful. Just because even if you don't need it, you know it's there. And if you know it's there, and you know that you can sink some time and go for the backup, then you know that's always an option that you have. And it is so much less stressful. As a result of that, you can just do more runs. And as a result of that, you just get better at the game and make it even less likely that you need to use it. So I do think that is literally the best thing that's happened to this run. Oh no, that's later on. That fight is actually really slow if you're doing the no major glitches. That's later on. In the glitched one, in the unrestricted format, it is a very fast fight. Much like most of the fights are if you're doing unrestricted.
Okay, and there we go.
Yeah, let's go.
By putting out there, for a moment it looks at the graveyard, which changes your positional data, which means I'm now teleported back to the graveyard when I quit out and come back. This means I can come up here and use this event again and move on to the next one.
Well, this guy said in chat, totally not Seb Smith. I believe you. They showed the devs this overlap glitch. They had a decent laugh out of it because of what even is that. And yes, they did. Fun fact, it was Firewood's footage that they did that with. So, yeah, like, because it's actually pretty great. They were like, what? How did you do this to my game? It's pretty funny. It's a fun video. You should check that one out. Yeah, that one's actually pretty fun. So yeah, I think next up is the camera.
I'm going to be very careful because I can still access the cards under the table, which is not a thing you want to really do until you are ready. Start the event, start the fight. Event finishes, fight is ignored, and we move on. There's also a lot of janky camera shenanigans in this section, which you have to deal with. Because, you know, the game's not really meant to run like that.
Canvas, yes.
But, again, with very specific routing, you can just head on through.
I've actually only played one Daniel Mullins game, and it's this one. I keep meaning to go back and play the rest of his catalog. He's got a fair few games now. I think this is his third, like, full release game. Third or fourth? I should absolutely go back and play the rest of them. The only one I'm not super interested in is Pony Island, which is what his next game is. Yes. I feel there's one more, but might be wrong about that. I'm not super interested in Pony Island. I've seen other people play it. Not into it, but I'll check out the Hex. Yeah, because this game is great, so I pretty much trust whatever he wants as a game designer. I'd also like to point out that the world record at this point finishes in 3 minutes. I do not finish in 3 minutes.
Okay, it is at this point we do an intentional quit out, and I have to ask, we did manage to do the Goober art, right?
Absolutely, we did. Thank you very much for these donations.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, do we have to quit out there to avoid a soft lock? Because at this point we are forced to stand up once again and do some more puzzles. Okay. And with another room that we've opened here.
Or keyboard control shenanigans, just being weird.
Again, it's very difficult puzzles, including some math, which are always the same. At which point, normally we just go over and grab something over there, but this particular occasion...
Yeah, I did this very, very slowly on purpose. Because when I was practicing this, I would do it a little bit faster, and I would miss them. And it would just be ages of me sitting there, clicking it to get back around to the thing, just to miss it again. So, yeah, I did this very slowly on purpose.
We are doing... I'm doing this very slowly because it's very easy to get this wrong. And...
I think I mentioned
this is actually, you actually can't brute force this either.
Yeah, I mentioned you can't brute force it, but I don't think I explained very well why. It's because there is an intentional delay after each one of these. So, but you can click through them very, very fast. You can basically just spin them. In the pedestal, pillars, whatever, in Act 2, you can click through them very, very fast, and it will automatically, as they come up on the screen, decide whether or not it's correct or not. So if you can actually brute force those ones pretty effectively by just mash clicking. And a lot of people do actually brute force at least one of them. Usually the target dummy one, because they can't find the third sigil. Because they don't realize that they have to actually fight the target dummy rather than just winning straight out, right? So this one actually has an intentional built-in delay, which if you don't do and you move to the next one, doesn't count. So this one you have to do very, very slowly. And of course, this is not part of the run. Absolutely not. This is complete waste of time. But donation incentive. So yay.
Because you have to wait between each press. And at which point, what's this? Eh? What are we doing here? Don't look at that. Do you like it? I painted it for the master to express my feelings, my hopes.
I legitimately love
that
this side quest.
Perhaps one day he might treasure me.
It's so sad.
And I treasure him? As I treasure him? Oh. You hate it. That's why you won't look at it again.
I considered doing one of my voices for this. I considered doing that. Master. Over. I considered it. I decided against it. Purely because when I do a voice with you guys, worst case scenario, one of you guys get annoyed and leave. When I do it with like 500 plus people in the chat for something that some of them paid for, after a run that's been fucking tragic to that point, I just didn't want to take the chance.
No, we love it.
Oh.
You do actually...
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that. You paid for it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You do actually have to stare at this for a little while. I believe it's 10 full seconds, as you can now go over to him.
Oh, we actually grief you and not let you leave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you can leave.
Oh, okay.
You have to actually appreciate it for a requisite amount of time.
Got it.
Otherwise... You looked at it again. You reconsidered it, didn't you? You like it!
We love it!
Yay! Oh, joy! I'll actually do it. I'll show you to the master. Thank you, friend. Bye. And we're done. I hope you enjoyed that because you'll donate for it.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay. And now...
I think that's a good donation incentive. I think that was a good one. I'm really glad that got funded. That's true. Oh, I know exactly why the end of Act 3 fucks up like it does. I've never seen this fuck up before because it's so easy to avoid. So damn easy to avoid. I've literally never done this fuck up before. It's coming up. Not yet, but after the 4th boss. It was like, once I realized what I'd done, I was really annoyed. Because I've literally never done that
Super Series
before.
part,
And
which
it was
is
entirely
now
my
the
fault.
actual hardest part of the whole run. Because things get weird. Like, I know they've been pretty weird before, but they get even weirder now. Okay, we want to go bust through that as quickly as possible. Go down here, grab this, put that in the thing, go up and over here.
My movement here isn't perfect.
Move over
but it's
3
fine.
screens, go to the fight. As the fight starts, we want to spam on.
Yeah, I that was actually a thing I was bummed out more about. The fact that we end up getting like a random deck for the finale. It's because we don't get to see that Raven Egg again. And I think that that would have been more entertaining. So, that's a shame, but yeah, we'll get there.
The hammer here and then hit that vessel. That's an important move. If you don't manage to get that, this whole section becomes a lot harder. As we now move down one, grab this. Is it the correct event?
I actually knew that was the wrong event when I picked it up.
Specific event. So
because of the way the cards laid here, because I took one backup earlier, normally these cards would be perfectly overlapping. If you take a backup, it removes one card from this because you have to use an extra card, power up an extra card. So, because I had to take that backup, they're not perfectly overlapping. So I knew when I put the double gunner in, it was going to be wrong. But I basically just tried to save face by going like, oh, is this the right one? I knew it wasn't. I knew it was just straight up incorrect. So, it's unfortunate. But I think I saved face. Until now, when I told you that I was essentially just lying to all of you.
we need to put this one in. And at the same time, we're going to start a habit of playing the fights behind the events that are going off. This is not the first time, or well, it's the first time, but it's not the last time we'll be doing that. And it becomes very...
There is actually a much harder way of doing, which does look more impressive, to be fair, of doing the first boss, the photographer boss, which involves doing a lot of this stuff, like playing behind the board and such. But me and Fire went through it, and the version that I do, assuming you don't fuck it up, of course, the version that I do is easier and slightly faster. So, but I think there's a dissonance with the top runners that they don't go for the slightly faster strat because when you're doing the harder one, it looks like you're doing more stuff, and more stuff generally means faster if you're doing more stuff in the same amount of time. There's also like one event in particular where you have to like sit there and wait for it to end on my strat, but you actually do stuff during that time in the other strat. So it's... Oh, by the way, the world record has ended. So yeah, it makes sense that they would think that, but yeah. In my version, this is the fastest way, or the quickest time to do this. I think there's actually a faster way to do this one. Again, we're doing like way more steps, which I did learn. I wouldn't be able to do it now, but I did learn it originally. And this way I just find so much easier. Oh, excuse me. I find this way so much easier because you just got to use a hammer once rather than having to like pick up and put stuff down and move shit around and still use a hammer later on anyway. This way is just a lot easier for me.
Awkward very quickly if you don't do things in the correct timing. Sometimes the camera gets stuck, you just have to shake it loose.
Oh yeah, this is the part where the game just completely says no.
Not want both of them, just the one. That'll do.
Okay,
By and large, it doesn't generally matter which events you use in which order here, but there are some which are better than others. Probably would have been better for me to use the other one, but that one's totally fine. Now we need to head... do we need to head back? No, we need to... Sorry, got a bit lost. We need to go over this way, start that fight.
This is the part where the game just, like, says no.
And come on. Come on. I know you don't, like... There we go. There we go. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes it doesn't like giving up.
That one was technically my fault because I started the other event of the other card, but it still should have let go much sooner than that. Sometimes it just holds you in place like that. Like there was a minor mistake which led to a... I don't know if we're going to call it a substantial time loss, but...
The things that we're trying to get it to do. So when it doesn't do that, some gentle persuasion is always necessary. Start the fight, grab this. Do that, and we're going to try, and... did we get that?
I did actually get it. It looked very weird, but I did get that.
Oh, we actually got it. Nice. Okay, we're now going to do a fight behind the tablet in order to win this fight so we can bust through the next fight. While also grabbing that. And winning the fight before it even starts. At which...
Let's have a look at chat for a sec. What is any of this? Yeah. Are we fighting a battle over an event over an overworld section? Yes. I do love, like this has been pointed out to me, the reactions of people who don't know what the cluttered desk looks like are always great. Like, I might just go back through the I'm mostly watching my gameplay here, but I might just go back through the section of the video at some point and just watch people's reactions when they first see the cluttered desk, because a lot of people just don't know. Also, this amount of people in the room, this is so much more than I thought it was going to be. Here, look at that cheeky grin. This is so many more people than I thought they were going to be. I thought that, like, maybe one person would wander in at some point. But I honestly thought it was largely just going to be me in that room. But nope. A lot of people showed up for this. I don't know if they were just waiting for the run after mine or whatever. I hope they enjoyed it. But yeah. They love me. They really love me. I wouldn't go that far. But I would say I appreciate the support. They did love Goober. I hope they loved Goober anyway. Chat definitely loved Goober as well. So I hope it was worth it. Maybe these are all the people who are just here to appreciate some fine art.
Point, we use that last event that we just picked up. Once we go through some dialogue. And we use this event.
My brain hurts.
Once it gets started to bust through this boss fight.
This is also, that's actually a reaction that pretty much the same reaction I had when I first learned about Fight Skip, because Fight Skip was actually discovered right after I joined the Inscription community. Before I'd even started running, but like right after I joined. So when I joined, no major glitches was the standard. That was just how you got through Act 3. But then, like, right after, like, right as I was getting ingratiated in the community, that somebody discovered, I have no idea who, I do not remember, but somebody discovered that you could stack events on top of each other, which then led to the whole routing and strategy of Act 3. And at that point, I had to decide, do I even want to learn the no major glitches format? And at that time, there was no major glitches category. It was just one any percent category. But there was enough people later on who wanted to do the no major glitches version. They wanted to stick with the regular strats. They didn't want to have to do all the janky shit. And that's when it split off. But by that time, I'd already learned the unrestricted. So, in a different universe, if I joined the Discord maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I might be running no major glitches right now. Or if I joined it 2 or 3 weeks earlier, in fact. Like, if not for my very specific timing, I might not be running unrestricted at all. Fun fact. My reaction when I first saw it was, oh my god, what the fuck? But then, the more I learned about it, the more doable I found it to be.
To do the fight. And next boss is done. That is boss 2 complete. We don't want to teleport back to the graveyard this time, but we do need to stand up and sit down to force a save. Go back in, and we'll do the next part of the routing. That is actually the hardest section of the game to get correct and fast. So I'm glad it went through without a hitch, because that can go very badly wrong. And in fact, you can get that before the dialogue is a little faster. I actually got a PB for this game on Sunday, which is my last practice before coming to this event. And that part really screwed up. So
yeah, I was about to mention this as well. My PB has a section where I think I lose like 45 seconds or something. Humble brag. Maybe. I'm still in 4th place, so very humble brag. But I straight up lose like 40 seconds because of a combination of bad RNG and just trying to very quickly figure out what the fuck I need to do about that. There's like a line where I'm like, I get like legitimately angry in that PB because I'm like, no, Not like this! Pretty much. But yeah. So, I'm painfully aware of how badly that section can go. I mean, not that the rest of this is like... Not that the rest of this isn't fucked up, but yeah.
So I'm very happy it went correctly.
You know, not replicating it without the mistake is exactly my plan. There is one thing that I will miss about not being on my old PB. I am no longer guaranteed 2 green splits at the beginning of my run. Now it's just going to be red all the way down. Because I've just, like, vastly improved those first 2 in my PB now.
In front of all of you.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely insane.
Okay, you can do this a lot faster. I'm just doing it a little slower because it's quite easy to break.
Yeah, I was just trying to be incredibly methodical and careful at this point. Like, considering how much the game had already broken, and not that I knew this, but how much more it was going to break, I just wanted to do it. At this point, I just wanted to get it done. Yeah.
This part of the game, which normally if you're going for like a world record or something, you don't care too much about. But right now, I just want to make sure I can finish this run. So we click that, pick these up.
This is another safety thing here.
Move down to the next fight before this finishes out.
I absolutely had enough time. Normally the strat here is to, while that's counting, use this to bash through this fight and then use the end of this animation to get the next event through. But I was playing safe. And you lose a lot of time by playing safe with this, but it was worth it. I just didn't want more mistakes at this point.
If I wanted to risk it, I could use this event and then try to push to the next one.
Yeah.
But again, for safety, I'm just going to...
I mean, it was Amiibot being there cost you an Act 3% world record, I believe, at one point, which is why Fire gets so mad at Amiibot. I think it's funny, and I get it. I totally understand it. It's still funny.
Stand there and let that count through. Go to the next fight. And grab you. Trade you. Just to get through that. Again, I could have used the other event to make sure that worked out, but it's totally fine that we didn't do it that way around. And okay, so now we want to set up the board in a very particular way, which we are actually able to do because of the upgrade.
I'm actually doing this horrifically slowly, by the way. Like, I would not be doing it this slowly in an actual run.
Upgrades that we have pulled out thus far. Okay, well, no, okay, we can't. We're gonna have to, unfortunately, have to take a backup here. Yeah, we're gonna have to take another backup because of a thing.
Oh yeah, this is the jankiest shit, by the way. I've never done this. I've never done this. I've never had to use the animation like this in order to break through like this particular lock. So just like doing this one at a time was weird.
Wait,
it was so weird. Again, I blame...
not how this is supposed to look, but we can do this.
I blame hardware a little bit for this.
There we go. I fixed it. Yay.
Like,
and then we
janky as all get out.
Not
like hardware not behaving the way I expect it to. Minor, definitely, but it was fucking weird, man. Like, so weird.
Crazy certain how that works, but I'm happy it did. Okay, so now we've got to set up for the next fight, which is once again going to be another fight that we win before we start, because we go over here. As the fight's loading in, we do the 6 damage.
I could technically do that a bit sooner.
We just set up there, and we win the fight before it starts. Got to grab this for story progression purposes. And we managed to get that as well. It's going to be a lot of camera shenanigans here, which is going to look a little strange. And by quitting out after the Beastmaster, I forget what it's called, Photographer, yeah. In the first section, we managed to delay this like we did in Act 2. But unfortunately, we have to do it now, because if we avoid it entirely, the game soft locks. So we go through here, once again, skip that, activate the event, move to the next fight. Animation of the event is very slightly long enough. Third boss down.
Nice.
Woo! Okay. Once again, we don't want to quit out because we don't want to be back at the graveyard. We want to grab this event And if we are quick enough, we can move over there before the dialogue happens. Oh, sorry, before an animation happens, not dialogue. We come up here, and we do what is probably one of my favorite parts of this run.
The reason why this looks more complicated than it is because there's a lot of cards on the screen. There's lots of things moving around. Same for different reasons. Oh, you got to bear in mind that there's only ever, like, at most 3 things on the screen. 4 if you include the tablet itself. But, like, at most, there's only ever, like, 3 events going on at once. And they overlap, so they look all jangly and weird. But you got to bear in mind that those 4 cards are from one event. Those 4 are from another event. And, like, this other weird contraption in the background's from another event. So it's a lot easier to keep track of once you know what is part of what it goes, which things are grouped together. Because you bear in mind that when you get rid of one of those cards that are grouped together that way, you can focus on one thing at a time, and then you get rid of one of those cards, like 5 cards get cleared off the board. Don't get how this section works. Yeah. Not that bad. The only thing with this section that's different is you pick up this event that's right here, except with the event that I'm about to pick up one screen to the left, it drops the thing in front of it, but that thing in front of it doesn't actually have collision apart from on the screen, so you can still access this event behind the other event that you put on top of it. Looks more impressive than it is, I assure you. You can also start the event and then start the fight afterwards. It's slightly faster. But again, just trying to be safe at this point.
Not that. Okay, so same thing as before. Picking up events in such a way that allows us to move around the...
I paused there because I almost fucked it up. There's a lot of these events, and it's... by and large, it's the same movement. It's stand up, sit down, grab the thing, stand up, sit down. There's a slight variation when you're duplicating, so instead of standing up, you press forwards and backwards exactly one time. Do any more than that, the game it doesn't duplicate. You still get the effect of the glitch, but it doesn't duplicate. But yeah, that's the same movement every time. But over the course of a run, and if you're nervous and everything else that was going on here, it is so easy to mess up that one movement one time. That's what happened at a previous event when I messed up the duplication glitch on that first event. I'd like to never do that again because that was so much more stressful than it needed to be. Fortunately, that didn't happen on this one.
Game at the same time. We now pick up an event we can't see.
I always say that because you can't see it, but I always know that it's there, and you can see that it's there before this thing comes down in front of it.
And we're now racing against the clock here as this event goes off automatically.
This racing part isn't actually as bad as it sounds, as bad as it looks. Yes, it goes off automatically, but there's actually only like 3 movements, and you don't really get interrupted while that's happening. The actual animation itself is quite long, and so you actually have quite a lot of time. I like to do other stuff during this animation as well, just to get it out of the way, but you don't need to do any of that. You can actually do it like on the next event during the next screen and still save time. So it looks more complicated than it is, which I feel like is the slogan for Act 3. But hey, if people want to say that I'm great and S the D over how well I'm doing, then hey, I'm happy to have that DS'd.
Want to try and get into this fight as soon as possible. Activate this event.
I actually did this slowly, like a bit slower than I meant to.
Oop.
And then
activate that event.
Pick that up by accident.
And then activate that onto the confirm screen before we go over here. We have to pick this card up.
I accidentally picked up an extra card because I was trying to hit the confirm button. Trying not to hit the confirm button, but hit the arrow instead. You can actually just pick up a card like that. If you've taken a lot of backups, then it starts to drain your deck of stuff that hasn't been upgraded yet. which becomes an issue if you still need to get through events, because you can only use those events on cards that haven't got that upgrade. So you eventually start to run out of cards, which can be a problem. So you can pick up those cards there as a backup for it if you're in really dire straits, but 99.9% of the time, you will never have to do that. It's just a time loss.
Not a lot we can do.
And I didn't have to in this case either.
Another event to bust through it, but not a lot we can do for this one, unfortunately. Go up this, hit confirm at the same time as hitting that satellite dish to activate the next section. Use that event, go through into this event, and that allows us.
I was being so goddamn careful there as well. I have accidentally used this event before getting to the next section. Bad time. Because that is a long backup. You got to come down here, down the elevator. Then that's a long ass backup. You don't want to be doing that. Yeah, this is pretty much what I was saying, Fired. Like, yeah, you need to be in like really dire straits for that to happen. To the point where you would need to, you would have been the run already. Like in an actual run, you'd have already thrown it away. You would have reset. What is even going on anymore? I don't know anymore. Yep. See, this kind of reaction always warms the cockles of my heart. I love it when people are like, I was like, yeah. Because I had that reaction. It's a very real reaction. Like when you see all this shit going on the screen and you don't understand it, it looks super overwhelming. So yeah, it's a fun reaction. You managed to mention a Meebot in ESA. To practice boring for. Shut up.
To bust through that event without having to trade a card for it. Go into this fight and complete this event to get through here. Duplicate this one more.
Well, that warms my heart. I like that even though you guys have seen me run this game a bajillion times, there are some of you that are still impressed by it. That genuinely warms my heart. And lets me know that I'm not completely washed up. Although having said that, I will be starting a new speedrun on a new game soon. I'm not abandoning Inscription. I'm going to keep running Inscription. But I will be starting a new run soon.
This time, again, we use this card to bust through this fight using the fight skip glitch. We grab this event one more time because we duplicated it. Hit that, and then with some very specific timing.
I was really paranoid I was going to hit this downward arrow. And yes, it is not only cans. I promise. I not anything to do with what the run we're watching, but I will go back to only cans if somebody tries to compete with me in like a very real sense. If someone gets within striking distance of the one world record I actually care about in that game, which is the all S ranks, then I'll start running it again just to defend the title. But until that happens, I'm good. And the thing is, I know none of you spiteful fuckers will go and do that just to make me run it. Because you don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. That's the point. It sucks.
Activate that and that at the same time. Fight starts, fight ends, final boss of Act 3 done. Okay, if I had been a bit quicker there, I could have...
This is the other fuck up. It was a legitimate fuck up. This one annoyed me. I have literally never made this fuck up before. I did forget to quit out. And the thing is, you can still quit out afterwards. As long as you quit out in this room, it still works. I fucked up extra hard because...
Okay, if I go back to the previous quicker there.
That's the fuck up. Because I changed the screen, it completely soft locks the game. Now, I realized after the fact that I could have fixed this by just running through the lore section. But I probably would have had to do a bunch of captures, and I would have wasted so much time. For all intents and purposes, the game was soft-locked as soon as I moved that screen. And I realized that as soon as I did it. I don't know why I did that. Like, even at the time, it was autopilot. It was absolutely an autopilot move, but that's not an autopilot move in this game. Like, at no point during this act do you do that. At no point do you kill boss, immediately leave the room. I don't know why I did that. It wasn't even a nerves thing. Legitimately, I don't know how I made this mistake, or why I made this mistake. I just did it. Like, this is beyond a rookie mistake. I don't know why. I didn't know this could happen. I didn't know this could happen at all. I'm so annoyed that it did. I'd like to say it'll never happen again, but I didn't think it would happen this first time, so...
I could have...
And I've just realized at this point that I fucked it up.
Can I have my controls back, please? Nope, no I can't. Okay, I might need to force quit the game here, because the game broke a little bit. No, we're good. We're good. We're fine. Totally fine.
Wait, did I swear?
Force quit the game here, because the game broke a little bit. No, we're good. We're good. Can I have my controls back, please? Okay, if I had been a bit quicker there, I could have... Can I have my controls back, please? Nope, no I can't. Okay, I might need to force quit the game here, because the game broke a little bit. No, we're good. We're good. We're fine. Totally fine.
I don't think I swore. And then there's this. It has actually been so long. It's been so long since I've done this section of the game casually. Before? Really? Did I swear?
Activate that and that at the same time.
I don't remember doing that.
Fight starts, fight ends, final boss of Act 4. 3 done. Okay, if I had been a bit quicker there, I could have... Can I have my controls back, please?
Thank you.
Nope, no I can't. Okay, I might need to force quit the game here, because the game broke a little bit. No, we're good. We're good. We're fine.
I don't think I swore. Unless you're talking about, like, way earlier.
Totally fine.
And there's this... Because I legitimately don't know...
What is happening?
I legitimately don't know what's happening.
Never had that happen before either.
That's never happened before.
Oh, okay. It's gonna try and force me to do this. Okay, so on.
Yeah. So I don't know why this happened, and I haven't done this section of the game in the longest time. So I forgot that this was even a thing. So I'm annoyed that it happened, and I'm more annoyed that I was basically forced to use chapter select here, because I could have... Oh, so we're in this stream, right, okay. Yeah, I could have done the lore section, but then it would have asked me to do puzzles and captures, which I'm not practiced at. They're not hard, but I'm not practiced at. And then I would have had to go through the entire lore section, and then come all the way back in. It just would have taken a very, very long time. I also wasn't sure if it would even work because of the way I beat the bosses. Because like, you gotta do the network and stuff. I legitimately don't know if it would have even worked. So I opted to just cut losses at this point.
Fortunately, I am not going to have to load a backup save here, because it's forcing me to do a bit of the story, but I can press this and ignore that. I just use the chapter select, because we were actually at the end of Act 3. This is what it would have looked like had I quit out at the correct time. So we go up here, we get some dialogue. effectively, I didn't actually...
Yeah, so I actually didn't lose any of the game, although, fun fact, I guess, is we're actually getting additional stuff here. Because if you beat the bosses without actually beating them, it doesn't flag anything in the game's memory to say what to show here. So you actually get more dialogue now if you use chapter select. I didn't realize that. There you go. But yeah, the chapter select literally drops you off. Technically, it's one screen further south. It actually drops you off right before the graveyard. If you use the proper glitch, you end up in the graveyard. But yeah, when you say I was lucky, I did know that's where it would put me. Which is why I did that and didn't do a backup save. I did have a backup save for right before that boss fight. So it wouldn't have been a big issue. I would have had to do the boss fight again. It wouldn't have been that big of a problem, though. Like, it would literally be go to the right, get that thing, go back to the left, and do the boss fight again. But the chapter select does drop you off right here. So, not the biggest deal in the world. I now realize... Actually, no. I was going to say I now realize I should have done that as a chapter select. But my backup doesn't have the Goobert stuff done either. So, yeah, it still wouldn't have worked.
You skip any of the game by doing that. Yeah, a bunch of dialogue.
All of this stuff.
A bunch of screens pop up.
Like, a bunch of that's not there, and if you do it right.
It starts to... Canonically, he's uploading his new game to the internet, which is a bad thing.
I am sad that this joke doesn't land at all.
Because that's going to make the
One
world
day it
end.
will.
But unfortunately, never quite gets to 69%. Very
Why does nobody laugh? It's hilarious.
unfortunate. It only ever gets to 68%.
Final time prediction, 21:53.
This is where you see
That's about right.
Well,
I think it's
we're
going
to see
quicker
the
than that.
scribes of the game in their full 3D glory. As once again we are met with a bunch of lore. However, Grimoire gets a hold of your hard drive and starts to delete the game. They're like, "You doomed us all." Nope, it's fine. As we are now moving into the finale act.
Okay.
And as this part goes through, we're once again deleting the whole game, canonically speaking, and we're going to start off the end of the game, which a lot of people haven't actually seen because they got stuck on Act 1. While this run has gone tragically bad in many areas, we did manage to get through, which makes it a good run.
So, when I say tragically bad in many areas, I now realize, having watched it back, it wasn't that bad. Don't get me wrong, from like someone who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. I'm looking at chat there. I think so, yes. I think it might have been. Should use the chapter select glitch more. Sadly, it is banned. Sadly. Explicitly. Unless you're doing an individual act percent, in which case you start from it. But yeah, I now realize, looking back on it, and there is a bit more of the run to go, but I now realize, looking back on it, that while the run was tragic from the point of view of someone who actually knows what they're talking about, visually, it was still pretty good. It was more entertaining. Yeah, well, other than the queer most will not know, it's true. There were some things which were a lot more noticeable than others, like the chapter select, for one thing. That one I really wish didn't have to happen. And because it was a mistake I made, it felt a bit rough. The 5 minutes behind the estimate, no, yes and no. Like, the Gruber stuff was literally 2 minutes, and I was only, 3 minutes behind estimate? Bear in mind that my estimate is so high because stuff has to really go wrong for it to go past that 117. That one fight quit out. Yeah. But again, that one still wasn't that bad. There was a couple that did look like shit was going wrong. But, yeah. I think it's mostly from the point of view of someone who knows what they're talking about that it feels wrong. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, it's just the game being janky. You're still fine, so why not, you know?
There's quite a lot of runs that just simply die to the RNG of this game. And speaking of dying, there's a gravestone. As much like in Act 2, we are filling in the epitaphs for our final playstyle that we
I still don't know where the cursor placement is for this.
The Grimoire section, which is actually a very, very cool playstyle.
I just fucking guess.
Chessboard kind of thing.
Every time. I never get it right.
I also figured out that it's faster to fight the guy on the right and delete the spider for fun. So, you know, I'm revolutionizing the format. And once again, it is unfortunately just much quicker to lose this fight. As if you end your turns as quickly as possible, that Bonehound comes down, and by the time it gets here, it does exactly 5 damage.
Ah, there's that guy. Is there an incentive for naming the cards? There was.
So there's a whole thing with the Grimoire section here, but by losing once, while the game just deletes itself around you, you end the section very, very quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm aware that spamming spacebar is probably faster if you're good at spamming spacebar. It is so much more comfortable for me to move the mouse. Especially because if you do it fast enough, you don't lose any time whatsoever. Yep, like that guy said, was there an incentive to naming the cards? Sure was. They did it weirdly. Not a fan. Not a fan. Go back to the beginning of this part of the VOD to hear my thoughts on that.
There is a fun little
Joining key spacebar to a joystick. I could do that.
That's a thing to look out for.
I'm not going to do that.
You play this casually.
You don't need spacebar that much.
Once again, a bunch of things are deleting again, and we see an old friend one more time as we go right back to the Act 1 section. This section of the game uses the deck that you had in Act 1, so maybe we'll get to see our beloved Raven's Egg one more time. Oh, not in that hand.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't know, maybe Raven Egg strats, maybe it's a new thing.
I don't think so.
I think it's gonna be a new thing.
I don't think so.
I'm also realizing at this point, like, what the fuck is this deck?
Yeah, so one thing you have to be careful with in this section is a thing called text overlapping. There is some dialogue which, if you accidentally get it, this doesn't count, but if you accidentally get some dialogue in this, then it overlaps required dialogue, and that just makes everything take longer. Still no Raven Egg. Guess we can't win the game without it. Dang.
This is where I saw.
I think this is actually just a random deck because I think it's just.
Yeah, I saw the turkey vulture. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? I didn't pick up a turkey vulture. And then hey, there's okay. So the Ouroboros I picked up never showed up, but this one did. How about that? Well, that's because I actually didn't know. I didn't know that the chapter select would have deleted Goobert's thing. I assumed it would still maintain in the memory, but it didn't. Like, I actually didn't know how that worked.
It's a random deck because I used the chapter select.
Like, obviously I never do that, and I never do the Goober thing.
Fancy Raven Egg, because I definitely didn't put a Rattler or a Turkey Vulture in there. Some of the worst cards in the game. Oh hey, it's an upgraded Black Goat. What is this deck?
Monty Mole. Mario enjoyers.
Okay, and with that, we have finished this section. Everything starts to delete properly. Now, this next section, there's another run-up section, like there
He's about
was
to play
in Act
himself
1 when you were going to get the boons from him. Normally, you'd be able to just mash forward and get through it, but because you guys paid for the incentive of appreciating Goobert's art, there's one little Easter egg in here which quite a lot of people missed on their first run through. I certainly did.
And you're gonna miss it now.
So we're not gonna mash forwards. Oh, I don't get it. It's a shame. We don't get it because
Chapter select.
Because of the chapter select again.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Normally there is a the painting is off to one side. And it's in the section with, like, it's Magnificus' section. That must mean he loves it. No, he's whited Goober out of the painting. So it's just a painting of him now. It's really unfortunate that you missed that because of the chapter select I had to do earlier. This run was a mess, but it was very, very fun.
It was a ton of fun. And
now,
having never seen it before, it's crazy.
Yes, it's quite a technical run. It's not as hard as it looks, but oh yeah, don't worry about that. It's not copyright infringement. At least it's not called a dual disc. Okay, yeah. This is a very fun run. I guarantee that being able to do it is a lot easier than it looks, but doing it fast is the hard part.
Yeah, I got one.
Unfortunately, we are now at a section of the game which is 6 minutes long, and there is literally nothing you can do to speed this section up.
I did notice this at the time, but I didn't really clock it. Miri actually does a very smart thing when I said that.
Unfortunately,
he looks up
we
at the
are now
timer.
At a section of the game which is 6 minutes long, and there is literally nothing you can do.
He looked up at the timer, so
to speed this section up. We've tried, and if anyone else can find a way,
he actually looks up at the timer, and he's actually able to keep track of how much time is passing. I'm not. I've got no fucking clue.
Thank you very much for watching this absolute mess of a run. Thank you, ESA, for having me. It's been a blast. I'll definitely be back. If they'll have me.
I added the if they'll have me because there was a moment I realized, hang on, I'll probably just be playing this again. Will they want it a second time? So incentive unfulfilled. Ha! No, we did the incentive. Didn't get an Easter egg, but we did the incentive.
If you are interested in running this, we have Discord, which you can find on the speedrun.com page. Personally, I am also on a podcast for if you're a manga enjoyer or not, as the case may be. We are on a podcast called the Trash Manga Friends.
And there goes Estimate.
Review one manga every episode, and whether or not it's worth buying and the various things that come along with the
yeah, I was very
sometimes
stressed out
older
at this
manga
point.
scene. This has been great fun. And yeah, that's pretty much all the shout-outs I have, and we still have several minutes left. So, do
Where
we
can
have
people
any
find you if they want to see more of you?
That's true. Twitch.tv/Berserker, BERSEKRER. I stream this and a bunch of other stuff very frequently. But if we have any more announcements or last donations or anything,
pointing at
now's
my
a good time
butthole.
for it, or else I'm just gonna have to fill the dead air.
No, that's all right. Thank you very much. Well, it was a fun run. You got a bit tricked by RNG, but it was a mess, but it was great. Honestly, I know that lots of people just came by, just like, oh, I didn't know Inscription had a speedrun. Now they discovered, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever. Well, no copyright infringement, of course. Anyway, we are raising funds for Make-A-Wish, and you can find the link under the stream right now. You just use your mouse, you scroll under it,
Yeah.
just says donate here. You can claim some
I'm not good
rewards
at
if you do a
promotion.
donation.
Unless
There
I
is
have an
not a
actual
Goo
script.
Butcher, but a Goose Butcher that you can claim. Yeah, that's a horrible pun. I'm very sorry for that. But I did
Wasn't
get
funny, just
tripped on with that. I saw that
I heard an audible groan from someone back there.
I'm used to it.
terrible.
But when I saw the incentives, and I was like, oh, there's a Goosebutt incentive in the game. No, it's a Goobut. Anyway. So yeah, if you don't want to go to Spirit.store to get some merch, you can claim these two shirts. There's Goosebutt shirt, this ESA Winter 2024 shirt. Both of these are $40. So you donate $40 or more, you select the reward, and you get the shirt, right? So it's a 2-for-1 deal. Also, while you were very, very generous, and thank you for that, crossing the 46K, almost at $6,900 on stream.
I just kind of, this is like an imposter syndrome thing. No, I'm just gonna play
Which
this,
would be nice.
YouTube. This is like an imposter syndrome thing, but I legitimately thought that, like there was definitely a part of my brain that was like, as soon as I start this run, donations will cease. Like that's all the money we'll get while I'm running. I was fucking overjoyed to find that we got like
On your donation,
we got like
please
over
select the reward. Please
$1,000
put it
during
in
my
your
run.
message
That's
so we
incredible.
can know, well, what your choice is. Otherwise, it would be a very nice, generous donation. And there's also the Deus Ex Human Revolution DC.
Also,
You can
as
choose
far
the
as I
language,
know-
English, French,
As far as I know,
German, Spanish. Please.
this
do
was not
put
a
it in
shared
your
number with the other
donation
stream.
comments. Otherwise, yeah, what?
As far as I know, I might be wrong about
I'm
that.
just, saying hi to everyone. Yeah, of course. Well,
We got 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
Three maybe now?
Yeah, a little less than 3.
Yeah.
well, let's not do just a countdown yet. But yeah, and
59. No,
yeah. If you were to,
Also, they
to
did this a
claim
lot as well.
one of these 2 rewards of $50,
They like artificially lowered it so they could make it go back up again. Cheeky bastards.
$25 or more donation, you can get a Switch or an RTX 3060, sorry. Or if you go all the way to $50 and claim all this reward,
sorry, just fire throwing shade in the chat. Wonder what section went the worst in terms of time loss in this run. I'd say boring 4, but I'm biased. Oh, you.
So yeah, please, if you've got money to spare and you want to be generous, consider donating on stream too for the incentive and rewards. And yeah, Berserker, I'll give it back to you if you've got things to say. I won't babble enough.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I just want to plug.
What would I say went
I love
worse?
this game. I've never seen the speedrun. Like, for context, like, I came up to Berserker before this, like, oh, I love this game casually. I'd love to kind of hang out with you while you play it. The speedrun's incredible. But I want to plug, like, this game.
In terms of time loss,
so good.
Act 1
There's
was
so
definitely
much,
the worst,
story
I think.
And lore and puzzles. And
like, there
all
was
this
just
stuff
so
that you
much
kind of
shit
blew
that
through,
went
which
wrong
honestly
that
is
could have
kind
gone
of a
better.
good thing, because after having seen this, I think you can still play this and still get a lot of the experience. So I highly recommend picking it up. I had an absolute blast playing this game. It's a ton of fun. And the run actually looks like a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, it's great fun, and as I said before, it's a lot easier than it looks, but I'm also very biased in that regard. And actually, that's good timing, because we are coming down to it now. Also, the entire tech for this section is put your cursor in the middle of the screen. That's it. That's all you can do for 6 minutes. So, as we come through the final...
I mean, technically, it's not all you can do for 6 minutes. There's other stuff, like you can read the rulebook for the 8,000th time.
Shake hands and be like, yeah, good game, good game. Magnificus comes along, desperate to be a sentient bush and shake your hand with his twig arm. And he's totally going to make it.
Yeah,
Didn't mention Casey's mod. I don't run Casey's mod. I think people who do are insane. I think I did mention, like, off the cuff that there is, like, another version.
Sorry, there's like some really loud explosion.
Like
I think it was a balloon popped or something. Scared
wow.
me half to death.
Didn't actually, like, pick that up. Yeah, I want to... I mean, don't get me wrong, I chatted my way through it. Like an absolute legend.
Also, we never saw her in the run, and unfortunately, he does not make it. And he's totally going to make it.
Yeah, he's got it right. Oh my god.
There you go, just
and
ignored
unfortunately, he does not make it.
What a legend.
Sorry, there's like some really loud explosion.
Like a
I
pop
think it was
or
a
something.
balloon popped or something. Scared me half to death.
Also, we never saw her in the run, but she was important. And time.
Yeah,
well done.
Okay, I swear I pressed the
so
button.
Brilliant.
Another bit of a volume warning here, but thank you very much for having me. I'd already done my shout-outs. Went a little bit overestimate, but you know what? That's half the fun.
That was the first time I
of a
looked at the
live
time.
marathon.
Oh my god, it's so loud.
It's very loud. So thank you very much for having me. I'll let you go now.
Well, thank you very much, Berserker. And yeah, we will go into a bit of intermission. And I want to say to everybody, I'm sorry, it was a birthday balloon that popped. It scared the crap out of everyone.
Clearly, somebody saw my time was about to be too good and decided to attempt an assassination. And to them, I would say, nice try. But you can't kill a gaming god. So, there you go. Do I do anything cringe at the end of the run?
In the room, but no worries, everything is fine. And yeah, we'll see you just later, just afterwards, after a small intermission for some the game I don't remember. I'm sorry, it's run by Shigan. What's the name? Have a nice death. Yeah, thank you very much. See you soon.
Nope, nothing cringe, I don't think. All right, so don't autoplay. What? How do I stop you from autoplaying? Just.
And yeah, Berserker.
There you go. Whatever. Okay, so. Now that I've watched it again, I legitimately think I was more critical of myself than I needed to be. Don't get me wrong, from a technical standpoint, from a speedrunner standpoint, from someone who actually knows a thing or two about the run, I think it was a shit show. Oh my god. There were so many opportunities in just Act 1 or situations in just Act 1 that I would have just binned it. I would have just fuck that, reset. So many. I mean, hey, I wouldn't have even started the run without Boulder Sack glitch. So, but like as an actual piece of entertainment media, I think that was actually pretty good. Could have been a little better. Would have been nice if we could actually finish out the incentive rather than rather than getting that little Easter egg at the end. That would have been nice rather than having to chapter select it away. But them's the breaks, I suppose. I think the things I'm most annoyed about, the way they did that incentive was actually very annoying. I did not like the Goobert one, totally fine. I didn't like the fact that they renamed it to Goosebert. Like a car crash in slow motion. Very much so. Like, if you know anything about the run itself, then you know that I didn't do anything exactly correctly. Things that annoyed me the most are the things that only I did. There's no excuses for them. I just made a mistake. And it could be down to nerves. It could have been down to any number of things. But ultimately, I made decisions which led to mistakes. Go to bed. And those are the things that annoyed me the most. Having said that, the rest of it was pretty good. I think the audience was entertained. I hope they were. I am so surprised there were this many people. I had no idea. Absolutely no idea. Like, I knew there were people in the room, but I had absolutely no clue there were this many people. And don't get me wrong, this isn't like no, this ain't gonna fill a stadium. But for someone who has never been to an event like this and has basically no like standing, I guess, in the wider speedrunning community, this was damn near flattering. So, I mean, thank you. If you happen to have been in this room while I was doing this and you're in the stream right now, thank you very much for watching this run. It actually meant a lot to me just to have people show up. So again, best attempt to derail me. Yeah. Some of that was not great. And I am... the ones that annoyed me a lot were the hardware fuck-up mistakes, because it made me look like I didn't know what I was doing. This is not even to include the mistakes that I actually made, but yeah, like when they're not your fault, it's more annoying, I feel. Shout out to Riding Dinosaurs. Yep, she was there for not even the whole run. She walked off at one point. How fucking dare. Or like I'm not the most important person in the world? Yeah, it was fun. I will absolutely do this again. Next time, I hope I can actually stay at the event hotel and just go to more of the event. That would be really cool. Maybe meet some more people. I didn't meet that many people. I didn't talk to that many people. Especially because I was only there for like a few hours, so I didn't really have time to do that. But the whole trip itself, while very tiring, was very, very fun. Not just the event, but everything else I did. Like, we went to stuff in Denmark, like we went to an aquarium and something else. Slipping my mind right now. But yeah. The fact that I got to do this at all, amazing. Will gladly do it again. Despite the fact that it is going to be relatively expensive to do it again. Okay, but fun. Really, really, really fun.